fucking God. Your lunch with Mary.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Keep it 100.
So chase greatness and start understanding that he's gonna make everybody better.
Tape never lies.
I don't want to see your tape breakdowns if you cannot show me things that are negative about a guy that's on your current team.
Hashtag chase greatness. Hashtag take that.
Keep it 100.
Because I'll make this one more time clear. Caden Whitlow, cut it.
Keeping it 100.
He is the best quarterback I have ever scouted on tape.
The Chicago Bears select.
Guess who's back? The two dudes that kept it real. Dynamic duo that you love, the smartest man at Dr. Phil. Breaking down the film, never a problem, kick it straight. Most shows focus on stats, we focus on the tape. We keep it in 100, never running east or west. We coming with that truth, cause that's what our fans expect. Cut off the fake and anchor, moving forward to be free. But don't you worry, Shane's got the dumbest tweets. It ain't no secret, Phil and Shane got some haters. But now they're moused up like the true and now and latest. Debaters, draws get kicked like Coach Tabor. Cuts had to be made, we added a barber moderator. Up and down, boys got you double checking. Sad sacks trolling like a fool drunk texting. Flexing on the truth cause you know they'll never change. Real, recognize real, that's what you get with Phil and Shane.
Give me some fucking names. We have 2 fucking games.
Fuck a play or a captain, all of the unfair. The tape never lies, the truth. You see, we laugh, we lie, so there's no maybes like Maybelline. Straight to the truth with acumen and facts. We got a stat nerd, but he's not just giving nerd stats. Car crash, big impact like trip sack. Every Wednesday night you got the smartest man Phil back. Now we know you're smiling like a fat kid with fun dip. We're back better than ever and we're keeping it 100.
Keep it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest
Keeping it
man.
100.
Keeping it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest
Keeping it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Keep it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo, what is good, TTNL family? It is Wednesday night, and y'all are watching the best bear show on the planet. Before we get started, just want to make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. And for more in-depth analysis, please subscribe to TapeNeverLies.com and sign up for our Patreon. We on top, baby. Kings of the North. Hopefully, we never give it back. We do have a special guest, surprise guest for you guys tonight, so we're excited to get that going. Without further ado, let me bring in the guy we came to see, Mr. Shane, smartest man.
Hey.
And Mr. Dr. Phil.
Cherie was freezing up on us a little bit. I think. Was she
freezing up like the veins in Caleb Williams? The ice van. Caleb Williams. Cherie's veins were getting frozen like your internet. She is the queen of the North. Coming in hot, heavy, and ready.
Some people are heading to the big house and some people are not. Right, Cherie? Did you hear me?
I'm excited about that.
You should be. You should be. It'll be fun, but we are back.
Are y'all not hearing me?
I think your internet is funky.
The new house, the Wi-Fi signal can't get through those giant thick walls.
We can see you, but you're very delayed. I will remove her.
Yeah, it's Cherie, the moderator, opening the show, Shane.
We need her to throw more interceptions so we know that she's developing. I think that's what we need, right?
Just keep throwing interceptions.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
That's all it takes.
We do have a surprise guest, as Cherie said. Listen, in this crazy world that we know, with Chicago Bears football, analysis by paralysis, the blog boys, the beat reporters, as well as the national media all seem to have a general bias against what we have come to find out to be exactly what we thought he was. Thank you, Denny Green. He is the franchise. He was the Hall. And speaking of
sure
the
was.
Hall,
Yeah.
a guy that has seen more quarterbacks in his lifetime than any McCaskey. He's going to come on the show and break it down for us like only you know he can from the rookie scouting portfolio. Some of your favorite visits and guest appearances of all time on this network. The man, the myth, the legend,
the jazz man,
Mr. Matt Waldman. There he is.
Howdy, fellas. Would this help if, like, they said, like, if he was trying?
Yeah.
Would this help? Did they need to see something like this?
That looks like the football that JJ McCarthy's been throwing to his receivers.
It's the ball my dog has been like stripping from running backs. I think.
Yeah.
With anything, yeah, he can have it.
So Matt, we start there in the first chapter of this story was about how not to raise a quarterback, and Caleb, like Shane eloquently put it, and I think you have as well, was able to put up numbers despite the narrative on him that the Bears have never seen. In fact, he broke all the Bears rookie passing records, as well as did some things to break NFL rookie records as well. But still, he was considered I don't know, he's a bust, he's this. But when you look at the tape, it's way different. And then now with a real parent raising his child the right way, we have seen a much different Caleb Williams. You and I were talking with Shane in the back green room while we were scarfing down that shrimp cocktail. What a wizard this guy is at escaping the pocket, and how that is just being taken for granted. Like, oh, that's what he does. No, appreciate what he does, because it's not what everybody can do and has never done. But I'll let you talk a little bit about what your thoughts on Caleb Williams and how negligent I believe the reporters in Chicago, as well as the national media. I think they're trying to catch up now, but you can't change what they've stated.
No, they're going to try and whitewash it as much as they can, especially as it gets better and better, because that's what's going to happen. Listen, I think Shane put it very well. I know in the rookie scouting portfolio pre-draft, I basically wrote that if there was a quarterback who could get dumped in the absolute shit house of a situation and survive it, the only one in that class was Caleb Williams. The only one.
Yep.
You know, I know that Drake May didn't have a great coordinator, and didn't have a great offensive line. But come on, it wasn't absolute negligence. The closest thing to what Caleb dealt with was what we saw in Tennessee with Cam Ward, where his drop footwork wasn't tied to his routes, just like what we saw with Caleb. And it didn't matter the talent of the receivers. If the foundation of your passing game is just get back there and find the open man, but no directive on how many steps you should start the play with, then you have no foundation for timing to move in the pocket, to move to the next man, to really have any feel for timing at all. So that's what he dealt with. Then he dealt with that absolute just lesson, like 101 lesson in journalism about what not to do with sourcing people by Ty Dunn.
Yeah, that was.
He may have been a journalist at one time. He may have been a good one. He's a good writer, a journalist that literally I've listened to some people who are Bears fans who are journalists. I don't remember the name of the gentleman. I wish I could talk about how, and like for over an hour about how this was poorly sourced. How when you have something poorly sourced, that you really can't trust anything that it says. And then on top of it, I've known for years, and I think we all do, that the Chicago Bears, the former scouts from the Chicago Bears, were not very good, not very happy about their being gone from the organization, and had a lot to complain about. And when you're shitty and you're trying to get a new job and you're connected to an absolute shit show of a development job and you're gone, what are you going to try and do to get back in? You're going to keep bad mouthing the player because you got to distance yourself from you were part of the problem. So, I mean, a lot of that's really bad. But on top of it, you look at this year and you bring in Ben Johnson, who is clearly just from watching how he handled getting a job in the first place, negotiating, kind of waiting and biding his time so that he had a negotiation platform to work with by saying, I don't have to take this job.
Right.
I've turned down jobs. You guys want me. You came to me. I'm not desperate. I could stay with the Detroit Lions, who've been ruling the North here, for a bit of time and have now become a good team. And everyone knows what I'm worth, and I know what I'm worth. So, yeah, let me draft the first couple of picks or the first half of this. I want that if you're going to sign me up for that team. So he's got a lesson in managing. He's given people a lesson in managing upward and getting some players he wanted and being able to navigate a little bit around Ryan Poles. Now he starts training the media, because you start looking at Luther Burden, who obviously hasn't done what people would expect from a second round pick just yet. But what he's done is he already has good talent around that team. He's got a young player that he knows is mega talented, but he can get a guy like Olamide Zaccheaus. And yeah, I know he had 3 drops 2 weeks ago, and one of them was a touchdown, and it was bad. And people are anxious to get Luther Burden in there. But I mean, the media this summer was like, oh, he's got some sort of injury, but why is he throwing out a pitch at a Chicago White Sox game?
Yeah, I remember that.
And
I
really trying why he's out there. I mean, the connections with that is just sheer stupidity.
Yeah.
Like trying to draw connections with that. So instead, what you see is he's having mantras like no block, no rock, putting veterans in there who obviously have experience reading coverages in the NFL and making adjustments and being professional in what they do and with their approach. And there's some training with teammates with that and creating a culture which says, do your job, be a team member of a team, play like a team, and you will get your opportunity. But I don't care how fucking good you might be and how excited I am to have you. I want you to get with the program. And if you do, you're going to be rewarded. He's done that with Burden. Also, he's taken the pressure off Burden. Now, because you see how the fans are. Look what they've done with Caleb. Burden comes there, he drops a pass or two. He does what Odunze's done, drops some passes, and everybody wonders if he can be a franchise player, much less a starter. You know, you get some of those reactions. Imagine what it would be for Odunze, a player that people thought they didn't even really need and they thought was a luxury to some extent. So he's kind of training the players, in terms of what to expect. He's giving them room. So it's like you're learning behind the scenes. You're watching what's expected of you. I want you to be as perfect as you can be without playing experience. And we're going to keep giving you gradual playing experience within the realm of what I'm asking you to do that's safe and not giving you too much exposure just yet. And that's great development. That's stair-stepping a player into what's going on. And you're winning right now. So there's no excuse to have to go to the player. Maybe we've seen enough with Burden that obviously gets us excited. I mean, the guy's a yardage after the catch machine. He gets 2 guys in front of him and he's still splitting them and getting another 7 or 8. And he runs darn good routes and great hands, all of that,
It's hilarious today listening to Ben, not to cut you off, but they were what you're saying, he's saying to the media. And it's been so political in Chicago for years. I've called it out. If you put performance over politics, you can't be playing your draft picks because you drafted them when a guy's working his ass off underneath. The goal should be to win. And here's Ben Johnson standing at the podium telling Courtney Cronin, yeah, what he's doing in practice, his alignment, his ability to catch. You know what, Courtney? You got to catch with your eyes as well as your hand. Everything I've said on this show and you're talking about right now is what he's doing. And it's so simple. It sounds so simple, but yet it's been so far and distant for the Bears to reach because they never had the right coach.
That's right. And he is training. The media has not experienced for a long time what a winning football program looks
100%.
like. So
right.
He is training them too. He's managing upward, he's managing his team, and he's managing outward public perception. And that's something that's going to take some time because, look, I've been a Cleveland Browns fan for a very, very long time. And, I would say I'm probably more out of the closet as a Ravens fan at this stage of the game because I'm disgusted with what's going on. But, the Browns public, the fans and the media, I've seen it for years. It's a mentality where when you're used to the kind of craziness that happens, you're anticipating it. And you anticipate it over and over again. And that's what I think some of the Bears media is going through. And also quarterback is just a hard position to evaluate. So at the root of it all, if someone came up to me who doesn't understand football and they just were like, and they're admitting it, which, a lot of people don't admit it and they have jobs in it. They would say,
you can call Colin Cowherd out.
What's the, Colin does a great job, doing what he does. That's a totally different sport he's in than what we're in, So thank God I don't want to be in that sport. But you would say, well, quarterback's very hard to understand. And even the more you learn about it, the more you realize you still have more to go. And I think with Caleb, what people misunderstand is that they nitpick the surface things and don't understand the process behind it. He went from having no process and getting the shit kicked out of him every game and still keeping it close and still limiting mistakes to going to the most. And he played in a very distilled version of a West Coast offense, the air raid. Air raid type of systems are basically like, fifth grade reading material compared to reading Dostoevsky. But then you get to the West Coast, and now you're reading Dostoevsky or you're reading that James Joyce, and you're supposed to talk about James Joyce. I mean, that's how much of a jump it is for these guys. And super structured, like no structure to super structure, like all athletic ability to now we want technique, and occasionally some athletic ability when we can get it. And Ben's got a great perspective on going, look, I'm not going to try and limit my quarterback from being an athlete. That's why I wanted to be here. But yes, we're trying to give him enough structure to work with. And you see it working. Last year, everyone was complaining that we didn't see him complete the throws he made at USC, these wild Aaron Rodgers-esque type of throws in the, peak of Rodgers' career. And you'd see him make them, but they'd be a yard or two off. They would be too short or too long. And it was usually at the end of the game where he was dead tired and had the shit kicked out of him. Now, with better blocking, not perfect, but better, he's got more energy to be able to hit these throws because he's not getting the shit knocked out of him. So you're seeing that. You're seeing him when he makes mistakes. They're mistakes that you would expect to see a quarterback make when he's at the top of a 5-step drop and sees his first read and goes, oh, that first window isn't open. I see that. What should I do? Yes, you'd like to see him in that I think it was the Ravens game where he ended up in the back of his own end zone and he didn't check it to the back like he should have. Instead, he waited for the second window to open to throw it to that receiver that he shouldn't have thrown to Odunze, and it was
got picked.
Yeah, but you know what? That's okay. Every quarterback has gone through that. They still do that on occasion. The thing that you want to see with a quarterback is, what's he gonna do after he gets picked in a situation like that? Does he start going into a hole and throwing picks? Does he do Sam Darnold and try too hard on every play when it's a pressure situation? Is he Jimmy Garoppolo and freezes up? Is he Derek Carr and start spraying the ball everywhere? Is it
right?
know,
Well,
or,
as a Bears fan,
Levis?
is he Jay Cutler? You knew another one was coming right after that,
right? No, he ends up making some of the best plays of that game and put them in position to win the game. He made some of his best throws in that game after that. This is a kid who is, like you said, got ice in his veins, like Sheree. Yeah, he's got ice in his veins. It's like that. This kid, I mean, and he's got balls too, because when I listen to some colleagues, and I won't call them out privately because I love publicly, but I love them. But like some of my colleagues who are like, well, I know some Bears fans and they don't like him and they don't like this and they don't like that. And all the things they don't like about him are things that they're just biased because he's a younger generation and he paints his nails black.
That's what I was just going to bring up, Matt.
He's got the balls to do that.
Exactly. That's the thing. And I've talked to Phil about this, and I know that the comments on YouTube tomorrow are going to be toxic, but I'm going to dive into it anyway. It's like a societal issue when it comes to him. And I said, a lot of these guys, you look at Justin Fields, and when he was here, he looked like a Marvel superhero in his uniform. You know what I mean? And he went out there, he looked the part. He was cool. He could run and make big plays and stuff like that. Caleb comes in, he's got a pink iPhone, he's got lip gloss on, he paints his nails, and he gives exactly zero fucks about it. Yeah. If you don't like it, I don't care. I like it.
Let's put it this way, because I'm from the generation where basically you did that, you'd probably get your ass kicked in school. Sure. Okay, certainly, sure. But it's no different. If you really think broadly, it's no different than being someone who grew up in the 1950s and you see Marlon Brando with a leather jacket, riding a motorcycle with the cuffs up and all of that, and he's dressing in a way that's not respectable, and he's a punk. Yeah. And that's, it wasn't cool. It wasn't really cool back then to everybody to do that, but it's sure iconic and cool now, so we're always, and especially in a hyper masculine, type of society of what supposedly being a man is, that football can engender. There's a reason why Dodge is like Dodge does the commercials it does, which are just almost hilarious parodies of what it means to be a man and an American.
I'm as strong as I could be.
But that's the thing. I mean, there's still people going back to him hugging his mother, up in the stands in his last college football game, and him saying that, I wanted to get back home, and I wanted to sit with my dog and hug my dog. And I mean, that's the type of things that people are holding against this guy. And
Joe Thomas wanted to go fishing with his dad.
Exactly.
He was a 10-time Pro Bowler.
On draft day
in Cleveland.
I think everybody can't handle authenticity because so many people are so fake. And that's where this show is. Like, we say the names of people in the media and hold people accountable. We also look at the tape for truth to hold Caleb and every player on the team accountable. So when I'm standing there breaking it down and I say, listen, Caleb is the last problem on this fucking team, and that was last year, going into this year, and a coach wants to come here for everything Matt said, the athleticism, the ability. We talked about getting under center. How many fucking plays are under center now? Did the media stop counting now? Because they don't know football. Matt's 100% right. They're not used to it.
He's gone from 0 to 60 and barely made the mistakes that you would expect a quarterback to do. And he's only going to get better.
Exactly.
And that's he's only going to get better. This team doesn't even. What would Roma Dune say beginning of the year? I only know about half this offense, if that.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
That's how where everyone is at this point.
Everybody talked about it the day that Ben Johnson was hired and coming in, and they're like, well, Jared Goff adjusted. I'm like, he was in year 7? His first
6.
year.
Jared,
Ben Johnson.
Jared Goff came from an air raid offense at Cal. Jared Goff basically, and I use this analogy in the RSP all the time, but I joke that going from the air raid to going to the West Coast, that version of the West Coast was like learning Chinese.
Sure.
I had a quarterback coach tell me that was like learning Chinese. So it's like all the things he had to learn, and everybody was like, oh, he can't handle the blitz. Oh, he can't handle the blitz. No, his mind's still. Yeah, he can. He was basically trying to handle it while learning a different language. Of course, he can't handle the blitz while you're trying to learn something completely alien and new. And then when he finally did figure it out, they were talking about, hey, man, have one on me. But happy birthday for sure, Ray. But when you look at him down the line, even then you could see Sean McVay was, I know people will probably find this an issue, but Sean McVay was probably told, you want to be a head coach for the Rams, you got to make our number 1 overall pick work.
Yep.
And he was probably like, I'm stuck with this kid who, and he has no experience with the West Coast offense. This sucks. Well, he innovated with the headset stuff. But then probably what happened was he probably was like, he's a young coach too. So he's young at managing. From what my perspective was he was micromanaging the fuck out of Jared Goff and basically wouldn't disconnect the headset from him and wouldn't let him grow anymore because they had so much success with him early. And so as a result of that, I think that he didn't have the respect of letting Goff grow, and he wanted to have a guy that he knew could handle everything. And Stafford was there for the picking, and that's basically what ended up happening. I mean, even the Lions were like, they told the media in the first year, well, we didn't know for sure what we had in him. I know the coaches were excited, but they were like, let's just see what we can throw at him. Because again, word gets around. The word got around is that he was fucking howdy doody on strings to Sean McVay. And then when they threw everything at him, they're like, he can handle all of that. And he's tough as shit. Mentally tough too, for all of that he went through. And no, he's not the best quarterback in the world, and he's not even I wouldn't even say he's an elite quarterback, but he's a damn good starting quarterback who you can win with when you put a program around him. Caleb Williams is Jared Goff, plus once he gets his stuff together. But he had to go from bad habits and punishment. And some quarterbacks probably have some quarterback form of PTSD after last year to all the way to where he is now winning
He
football.
walked in the door to Matt Eberflus and Shane Waldron on day one in the NFL.
Terrible offensive line coach.
Yeah. Larry Curley and Mo.
Line.
Yeah, right.
We're throwing every piece of shit on the table for what's Gordon Ramsay to make a fucking amazing dish. And what Caleb was able to do, you, me, Shane, all of us calming the fans away from the media narrative in Chicago. I'm just staying in fucking Chicago.
Yeah.
They should be ashamed of themselves.
I got cut off on
terrorized this kid.
I got cut off on a Bear show. You know which one?
Yes, I do.
Because I started going off about the media, and they were like, "Oh, well, no, we're ready to build a statue for him." And I was laughing. I go, "Yeah, I know who doesn't. I know who's not happy about."
But
Caleb
that's the
on
thing.
this show.
Phil and I do a show for that same place where you were every Monday night.
Yeah.
And we might not next Monday now, but
blame it on me. I'll never be on again.
It's
Not
fine,
just the
it's
disappointment of our.
It's fine. But I had to laugh, so I was on there. Phil was coaching late the one night, so I was on, and they had one of the Bears beat reporters on, and I'm blanking on his name. But, we were talking about training camp, and I said, what I had to laugh about with you guys, you beat reporters, it made me laugh so much. They were talking to Ben Johnson, and he's like, oh, yeah, a goal for us with Caleb is, yeah, we would love to see that 70% completion percentage. That's our goal. Well, then these guys started charting passes in fucking day one of training camp with zero context and publishing reports of what his completion percentage was in practice. And I'm like, so you would bring it up and you would say, Ben Johnson would say, all right, Caleb, I want the ball to go here on this play. No matter what, you're going to put it here. I don't care what you see, it's going here. And I said, so everybody on the fucking sideline has no clue about that. And they're like, he fucking forced that ball.
Right.
And they're checking it off as a negative.
The check down was wide open, man.
Towards Caleb. So
threw
there
it
was
to the
zero
dig.
context. But then here they go. They get into preseason games, regular season games, and they're still fixated on the 70% completion percentage, which was a goal, by the way. And here's some fucking context for all the Bears beat reporters. Jared Goff hit that number in year 9 for the first time. That was with working with Ben Johnson for 3 years. That was last season, the first time he ever hit that.
Bingo.
These guys are charting it and fucking train the first practice and training.
I've got an assignment for y'all because y'all are the men to do it. I know it for sure. You've both seen Dead Poet Society, right? Long time ago.
Yeah.
Robin Williams has that famous scene where he begins class and he has them looking through the introduction to Dr. Pritchard's poetry book on what makes a good poem, and it's a fucking formula. And he literally, and one of the kids got a protractor out, and the other one's like furiously taking notes like a Bears reporter, and then he like tells everybody to rip it up and throw it in the trash. Because that's not how this works. It's the gravity of the type of playmaking that you do. It's the gravity of the plays and whether what the overall effect is. Caleb Williams is a big part of why they're winning in the top of the North, and he's just learning. There are people who probably didn't like certain musicians when they came out, and were like, yeah, that's okay. And then they put out a masterpiece like 5 years into their career, and people are like, "Oh, he's a genius!" And
I was with him from day one.
With him from day one.
I told everybody.
Yeah, that's what they do with this is a performance medium. It's not something in a lab. It's not done. The numbers can tell us some things, but it is a performance medium. Quarterback is an improvisational performance, craft that takes a lot of technical skill, takes a lot of theory, and then on top of that, you want to be able to play things in structure and play things and perform that way. But you also need to be able to adjust and do things away from that. And no matter how much we try to quantify what's going on, there's going to be things about football that just elude that. And open your fucking eyes, learn a little bit about the craft of the game. And you do that, the more you realize that this kid is on his way to becoming one of the top quarterbacks in the league.
And one of the greatest throws I've seen this season was dropped by DJ Moore with Caleb.
Somebody just brought that up, Phil. I think you can look at 90% of his impressive throws this year, and they've been drops. I said, go back to the first Lions game. He had 2 of them. He had one that was 47 yards on a rope down the line in quadruple coverage. And the only guy that touched it was Roma Dunze, and he dropped it.
But see, that's the thing. People have a tribal mentality because if they can define things, they feel safe.
Yeah.
If they can't define it and have to live with some uncertainty or things that are shades of gray, it makes them very uncomfortable. And then if there's no evidence of that, of the black and white, and someone makes a statement that seems out of line, they're going to make fun of that. So a good example that's been fun for me is I don't usually engage with the idiot faction of the internet, but the Indianapolis Colts fans have been a lot of fun to engage with, the ones who've been that faction, because I've been talking about how after seeing Colston Loveland get healthy and get back on the field, I've been on X saying this is my number one tight end since April, and I still feel that way. And from what I've seen, the gravity plays have been great. But in the background of that, every week I've been looking at Daniel Jones and Tyler Warren and going, look, Tyler Warren's really good, but the way they're scheming it is so good that I think there's 5 tight ends from this rookie class who could probably do what he's been doing on 80% of the production that he's getting. Because even JJ Watt, when you're a former great defensive end and the first question you ask a player in the broadcast, like the pregame interviews, is like, man, what does it feel like to catch a ball without anybody 15 to 20 yards around you?
Yeah.
I mean, that's enough to know that he's seeing what everyone else is seeing, which is these gimme passes that him and Tucker Kraft have been getting. It doesn't make them bad players. It just means that they're not awesome studs that in terms of what you would look for long term, at least they haven't proven that to that level yet. And so I'm looking at difficulty of plays, techniques, concepts, what goes on. When I watch Colston Loveland, he looks good. And then when you watch him as a blocker, he looks even more impressive. And yes, but then, you get the faction of what's safe to label. Oh, he's not even really the starter yet. So how good can he be? And then you start looking at numbers like I saw this week from somebody putting them out and showing, I don't know what the metric was, but basically they were showing like the efficiency of production coming from the player. And guess who was number one? Colston Loveland.
Yeah. No, that's I'm
52 years old, and when Matt comes on, I don't know. I feel in a zone of learning from a professor, a word professor. I really do. And I've been around football my whole life. But the way you can articulate these things, I feel like you're the greatest when it comes to articulating an issue, whether it be social or football or the Bears. You're like the therapist unraveling the knot.
But you know what the best part is, Phil? He's not just going to blow smoke up our ass because he's on a Bears show and we're Bears fans. Because I said, if you ever want to see the truth of Matt Waldman, go back to the night when he was on with us and we drafted fucking Velus Jones. I still think about that almost every day. And I wasn't a fan. And I'm like, well, Matt, what do you think? And he's like, well, if you like a guy that's really fast and can't fucking catch anything and drops literally everything, I guess he's your guy. So don't think that he's here just to blow smoke.
No, I mean, I love you guys and I love this show and this feels like fam. But and yes, the Colts fans thinks I'm a diehard Bears fan. Little do they know. But but the thing is it's just the fact that we have an environment here when we get together, and you guys have it when I'm not here anyway. And we just share this in common, is that we're going to talk about what we see.
Yep.
And it's going to be steeped in the craft of the game. And so sometimes that flies in the face of what people currently see. It's not the first rodeo I've been to where I've talked about a player and said, yeah, they could be good, but I think the numbers are saying a lot more than what their game is really saying. I mean, you could look around the league and I'll give in the past, I remember I had a whole staff of people get upset with me that I didn't have Clyde Edwards-Helaire ranked in the top 10 of running backs as a rookie. And I'm like, he can't break tackles. He doesn't have great contact balance. He's not that fast. And then he has a big game against the Texans, and everybody's like going off. And I'm going, did you watch the game? Here's some tape. Yeah. They couldn't tackle me, And so, now we're years later, and we know that injuries have taken their toll on him, but we saw that exposed beforehand. Or you look at Tet McMillan right now is a great example. Tataroa McMillan. I want to put his name right, say it right. He's a good number 2 receiver. Is he a top fantasy receiver right now? Absolutely, in production. But when you watch his tape, what you see is a guy who wins on zone routes, wins on schemed plays where they get the only goal is to get him the ball and misdirect the defense. And then whenever, on like once or twice a week, when they try to target him as the primary guy against man-to-man, he can't separate.
Yep.
And we in that two touchdown week against Atlanta, that's exact. AJ Terrell, they put him on in a third down situation, couldn't get off the line of scrimmage against him and get separation. And the moves were just not good, just like they weren't good in college. Will it maybe get better? Possibly. But like, those are things that when you tell people that, it's not popular early on, but people start to look long term and they go, more often, I remember someone saying that. I remember someone saying this, and then they start looking at the process and they go, okay, I may not always agree with what they're going to say, but more often not what they're telling us makes sense. And you guys go through that all the time.
All the time here.
Oh, we sure do.
You were right about that, Justin.
We lived it. I mean, I have to laugh because last year, Jaden Daniels was the belle of the ball with everybody, and TTNL's morons. They were down on Jaden, and I'm like, we tried to tell you guys, our truths and get back to us when the injuries start to creep up and when everybody, gets a year of tape on him. And, here we are. And I'm not trying to shit on Drake May. Drake May has played better.
He's played well
than I expected of him. And it is what it is. And you know what, Matt? I would still never trade my guy for Drake May.
Me neither.
I would never do it for Jaden Daniels or Bo Nix or any of them.
Yeah.
And you can tie draft pick compensation to it. And I just wouldn't. And it's crazy. I want to back up and just get your thoughts on this, Matt, because I think about this an awful lot. You brought it up when Ben was in the hiring process in 2024, and he was actually on his way to Washington. He was on the plane, and then they pivoted and came back. And I always look, Ryan Poles came out and they said that they weren't going to move off of Matt Eberflus. And I look at it a different way. Matt came out and said that he had unfinished business in Detroit. That's why, why he didn't leave and all that. I almost look at it like Ben said to himself, you know what? I've waited this long. I can wait one more year. Chicago's getting Caleb Williams. He's not going to Washington. Odds are Eberflus is going to be out after a year. I mean, I don't think that's a stretch. And then people try to say, oh, he came to Chicago this year because of the money. He was getting paid no matter where he fucking was going.
The Raiders offered more money.
But do you think that could be plausible? Like he looked at it like that, saying Chicago is getting Caleb. They're going to take him at 1. That job's not open. So why would I go someplace else with a young quarterback?
Very possible. Very possible. Because if he's this is definitely a forward-thinking guy.
Big time. Yeah.
He is and when you are highly organized and a forward thinker, it gives you more room to play those chess moves because you are thinking ahead in an ultimate planner. I love that he gets annoyed with the reporters on the sideline.
Me too.
Like I know that the people go off on them, but I'm like, he's like the modern day Parcells in a sense in that respect. Like he has a culture, he knows what he wants, and that's the thing. And we just saw our listener comment about what Breer said. But Albert Breer said, but I think it's quite possible that he just decided I'll play the waiting game.
Yeah.
And so many people really don't know how to negotiate. I mean, it's
100%.
People think they're good negotiators in the same way that they think that they're good football coaches or armchair quarterbacks. My wife's a negotiator by trade. Trust me. I got some lessons on what negotiation really is, and I'm not talking about our marriage. I'm just talking about listening to her in the room, and also negotiating a contract for me. I'll put it out here. Like I had an opportunity to be a lead draft analyst for Sports Illustrated a number of years ago, and be their national guy, and I ended up turning it down. And it was because the company that bought out what was the golden. The golden age of journalism was not a very good company, and I don't mind saying that. I'll just say that what my wife did on my behalf without them knowing to negotiate, I literally was like, I don't know how you do your job.
Yeah.
Well, but the way that she does it and the way it's done, it's amazing. So when you see someone who's actually good at this craft, and he may not be a pro at negotiation, but he's better than the average person. And so he's seeing ahead. And part of it is just knowing, as my wife would say, is knowing what you want and what you don't and what you're not willing to settle for. And you're willing to walk away if you're not going to get it. And he showed that, and that's power. So yeah, I think it's absolutely true. And I think he's got probably a 3-year plan already. He probably came in here with a 3-year plan, and he's gonna push like hell to beat that first year plan and be a lot better. And he may act like he's disappointed about certain things when he needs to, but he'll know when to be like,
it's with a purpose.
Yes,
everything has a purpose. He understands the art of coaching. Everyone was waiting for me, and I've been honest. I would know in 5 games if this guy was the real deal. And I went on and said, this is how you build a football team. This guy is the real deal. I see exactly. Now, I might not agree with some of the play call. That's going to be a given. But what he did and is doing, to your sentence, I'm going to try to clip it. Like, the Chicago media doesn't understand what it is, whether it be neglect, because they're so used to utter negligence and chaos. They don't understand how great this is and how great the culture alone, because football is finally first, and you have a franchise-changing quarterback. It's not even close. He's the best player on the team. He's the best thing to happen to this team. And we've been begging fans to just get behind that growth, because it's on display every Sunday.
Yeah,
right.
Wiederer saying there was no, what did he say? There's no great plays in this.
No star power plays.
No star. The escape off play action blind with 24 coming on the perfect football blitz angle into your back, and Caleb not knowing he's there to escape with strength. And
did you hear Tom Brady's reaction to that play? I mean, he almost had a fucking orgasm on air when he saw it.
I can believe it. I can believe it.
It's just unbelievable.
Whoever
it's like
said
Barry Sanders like ability to escape in a small area over and over. It's star power every time he drops back.
He wouldn't know star power if Barry Sanders blew right past him and put a wind, put the wind of his gate in through his hair. He still probably wouldn't feel star power if that happened. Jesus Christ.
Phil brings up a great point. We've been around this franchise forever, and Phil's known me for a long, long time, and he knows that I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with Phil. He's like, dude, I don't even know how the fuck you saw that in the clip or thought about it, but I'm rarely looking at, just what everybody else is looking at in a clip. And when they introduced Ben Johnson and brought him into Hallis Hall, they had all the employees out in the foyer, and he came out with his family and he spoke, and he goes, you know what? The number one thing that we need to do here is pivot our focus to all those people in the locker room. That's where it all starts. So that was great. But that's what everybody was focusing on. I looked in the background, and the Chicago Bears head of security that is in every photo with every one of the players did the fucking Axel Foley, like, holy fuck. The head coach just said that. You know what I mean? I said to Phil, I'm like, that peels back the fucking curtain to show you they never gave a fuck about the people in the locker room before that.
Yeah.
And it's just little things like that go so fucking far. And it's un-Chicago Bear-like. And this is the thing. And nobody was more pissed off at the Bear. Listen, I had Colston Loveland, my number 1 tight end on draft night. Loved the talent. I was pissed on draft night. They went tight end at 10.
Sure.
You know what I mean? With being a 5-win team. But now having the benefit of hindsight, I said on BHL, I'm like, you know what? I'm done blasting that pick anymore because I thought that the Bears should have went defensive end. But I said, you look at the more I get to see Ben Johnson, he's, again, what we just said, a forward thinker. He's saying, you know what? This defensive end that we could take isn't going to be as critical to our team as this tight end is going to be once Caleb is in year 3 and year 4, because who's going to be his best friend? Colston Loveland is going to be.
And who needs those years to get ramped up to do it? And who doesn't have to worry about being the only good tight end on the team right now? And who else also needs veterans with rookies getting sprinkled in so that the Caleb can know that things are going to be the way they're supposed to be, or at least enough so that when he throws the ball, at least it hits the guy, even if the guy doesn't catch it.
Yeah.
It's like the guys are running where they're supposed to be, except maybe for DJ on occasion when he's freelance like he usually fucking does, and denies it. But I love that Ryan Fitzpatrick called his ass out on that shit, because I talked about it in the media, and I think it was me and a bunch of other people that he was like, yeah, some of these people on Twitter don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, okay, fine. You just keep freelancing in the wrong direction at the top of your stem, and leave your quarterback hanging out there. But that was the type of thing that I think Ben Johnson knew, is for Caleb to develop, he needed all the structure and he needed all the reliable people. And that's the thing. Zacchaeus, while not a great player, is a damn good reserve contributor who's done it on multiple teams. I know his wide receiver coach, and listen, I'll tell you the history of Zacchaeus real quick, which is, you guys know he was basically a scat back at UVA and a returner. And then they moved him to wide receivers last year. He didn't get drafted. The Falcons brought him to camp. They didn't know what they had in him. The reason what they used him as was a deep threat, because he kept beating everybody deep in practice. That wasn't even what he was good at. What he was good at was after the catch in open space, running those routes that you would see like an Amon-Ra St. Brown run or somebody along those lines. And where is he? And who got him? And who signed him? And why did they do that? And so they know at least that he's not going to make mistakes reading coverage and put his quarterback out to dry. He may not catch the ball the way you want him to all the time. But Caleb's getting trained on processing, on observing things and reacting and throwing confidently and not having to second guess things and playing aggressive football. And if you're going to make mistakes playing aggressive, but you're accurate with what you're doing most of the time, that's okay. You're growing in the right direction. You put Burden in there, and you don't know if you can rely on him to make those same changes at the speed that Zacchaeus can. And then you have too many of those guys in there too early, because you got to get all your rookies in because you paid them all this money. Yeah, that's a fucking dumb idea that I've never liked. Is then you end up in a situation where your quarterback is second guessing everything. Their processing slows down and it never recovers. They never grow. He's putting him in situations where he's going to grow faster because of that. And then when Burden comes in and Loveland gets more time and he becomes the man, it's going to be awesome. And then the defensive end is the easiest position to develop in the NFL. The Vikings did it with Daniel Hunter. I mean, like, you can take guys, and if they have the bend, if they have the length, if they have certain athletic skills, you can train them. Tight end is one of the toughest positions to play. If you see one that goes, that fits my offense, and he could be a star in my offense, I got to get his ass right now.
Yeah, and you go back to draft night too, and I believe it was Ian Rappaport was saying, how the phones in the top 10, everybody's phones were lighting up. And when the Bears took Loveland at 10, all the phone calls stopped. And like the Rams were team number 1 trying to sell everything to get up because they wanted Colston Loveland. And then, like I said, when he went off the board, it stopped. And I have zero problem admitting that my blueprint at the time was not the right one. And I was very short-sighted and not looking ahead because I didn't really know who Ben Johnson was.
Sure.
But I said, now I'm around him more and just see that he is a forward thinker like this. And now it makes more sense. And I can see what his vision was at the time.
And it makes sense.
And it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, that it takes some time to see that, especially if you're a Bears fan and you've been through what you've been through. It's hard to count on a coach to be what they say they are.
Yeah.
And to actually see the actions. And coaching is operations management, you know, and I've been in media, but before I was in media and before I did journalism, and I don't call myself a journalist anymore because I don't do
because you know
feature
football.
writing in pieces. I just analyze football. That's what I do. Yeah. But for 10 years, I worked as an editor in a magazine. I got to edit some Pulitzer Prize nominated writers. I did feature writing. I did that type of thing. It wasn't hard hitting journalism because it was for a university magazine. I used to do features and other things outside of football as a freelancer and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I have an idea of what journalism is and isn't. And I'm not doing journalism. I'm just doing media and content production. That's different. But I did do operations management for about 15 years in a pretty tough environment in terms of like what was demanding and having both smaller teams of 5 to 8 people and teams of 100 who were underneath those folks working. And, you know, you have to manage upward, outward, and within your room. And you have to understand how to do that and manage things have a vision and patience. And you have to get into the really grind and get into the weeds of things, but you also have to be able to see things from a broader perspective. And that takes work. And a lot of people are good at one thing and they get promoted, but they're not very good at managing because they were promoted to being a manager, but they had no skill at doing it. And so you're going to encounter things and you're going to have to adjust. I mean, like a good example, someone around the league who's, I think, doing a pretty good job of adjusting is Liam Cohen, because Liam, as my buddy Brandon Angelo, and we got to get him on
Duval.
Yeah, there you go. We got to get Brandon on the show, who's a Bears fan.
Yeah.
And Brandon and I do a show every 2 weeks on Wednesdays. And I put it out usually on Thursday morning. It's called Going Deep. And Brandon talked about it. He's like, listen, the Brian Thomas, was great last year.
Yeah.
This year he has not been good. Well, my contention is, and I looked at the film and I could see his point, is that Trevor Lawrence has not been good at vertical passing. And as a result of that, that's Brian Thomas's game. That's what it's built on. Most of his production came without Trevor Lawrence. And so if your vertical game isn't working well, the rest of your game, if you're Brian Thomas, is built off that, it falls apart. And so what are they doing? They're pivoting. They pivoted to Jacoby Myers. They pivoted to Parker Washington. Some of it's due to injuries because, but they traded for Myers because Myers is a guy that fits more of what Trevor does well. Liam Cohen wanted a thoroughbred wide receiver offense. Yep. He wanted Diami Brown. He wanted Thomas. He wanted Travis Hunter. He was looking forward to lighting it up with a kid. He could do what they did with Baker and bombs away. And then he found out as the season went along that Trevor can't do that very well. And that maybe their most consistent receiver was this kid that they're like, whenever everyone would ask about him, they go, yeah, well, that Penn State guy he's okay. But, he's not really in our plans other than special teams, but he's the only one that can fucking catch the ball and take a hit. And Trevor seems to love and can break tackles. And he's no star, but he's a really good, contributor who can start for you. Now here they are. They got two of those kinds, and Jacoby Myers and Parker, and that's what they're rolling with. But you have to learn to adjust.
Yep.
And that's what Cohen's doing. And one of my friends who's a scout was like, we're going to see about Liam Cohen because I know him. I worked with him at one time, and I know what he was. He knows football, but we're going to see if he understands management because they might start hot and then things cool off because player problems happen, media shit pops off. What he thought the players were aren't what they thought and what he thought they were. How's he going to fix it now? And you're seeing he's at least making strides. It may not be all successful, but they fucking blew out the Chargers. Now, having Trevor Penning as your left tackle probably makes that a little bit easier, but still, they played good offensive football.
They do, and you bring it back to what Ben has never been a head coach at any level, so that was the concern. We didn't know what to expect, thus our draft positioning and thinking, and turn around, and here he is. I mean, the stoic presence. I don't know if I've ever seen a coach see their team go down the field, score, and stay.
He just sits there and clicks his pen.
Landry.
That's what he seriously. Did you see that
Paul
video?
Brown? No, but
they just don't.
It's so funny. They have like
smile
a 3-minute video of him in one game, and he must click his pen 557 times. It's in his mouth, and he's back to clicking it, and it just stone faced.
If y'all watch Dexter and watch the Dexter Resurrection, maybe he's that New York detective. Yeah, and in the earphones, he's playing "Staying Alive" right now. He's clicking his pen.
I had a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
When you look at Caleb, and I think a lot of media here aren't getting it. They don't see the drops and how they affect the number. I know runs around from PFF, and I joke that all these people are doing math off PFF. Those numbers are completely wrong to the tape. I mean, I have DJ Moore with like 7-8 drops, a Dunze with 11 drops right there. That's 18. Forget about Cole Kmet's 7 drops. Now these are critical drops too. And you saw him in this past game. Then you got, he's throwing the ball too hard. I mean, you're an NFL fucking receiver.
Phil, there was a guy out there that said that Caleb needs to understand how cold it is out there. In
a dome.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But Jason McKee put out the thing. If you take away the Bears' drops on the season
and a skewed number,
right? Phil was disagreeing with his number of drops. He has 20 total drops for the team. Jason McKee does so far. And if you redo his completion percentage without those drops, he goes from 60 to 65%.
Yeah, and I remember scouting Lamar Jackson, and people talked about his completion percentage. So I took away all the drops that I charted, and I only when I look at drops, I chart my own. I don't use a stat service for college or anything that I see, even with filters, because I chart that myself, and I'm not looking for total drops anyway. I'm just looking for drops within the range of the sample that I do. But I only trust myself. Right. Because to me, it's like it should have been caught. Like if it's a pass that I look at accuracy two ways. It's either pinpoint, and to me, pinpoint is either you in stride, as you would imagine, based on that, or based on the route that's run and the coverage that's defending it, and where the quarterback's trying to throw it to keep the receiver safe. That's pinpoint. Even if the receiver has to adjust for it and make a somewhat difficult adjustment to catch it. Like think of a pass Kurt Warner would throw to Torrey Holt over the middle to make him turn and slide. And he had to make and dig out the low throw, but he knew that there was a linebacker coming for his shoulders and his chest. You would look at that and go, that's the only place he could have thrown it without him getting injured. That's a pinpoint pass.
Hospital ball.
Yeah, exactly. That's a pinpoint pass. He's protecting him from throwing a hospital ball. So I look at that, and then I look at what's called general accuracy or catchable accuracy, like within reason. That may not be exactly where it needed to be placed, but if the receiver dropped that ball, you would look at it and go, it wasn't the perfect throw. It wasn't even a good throw, but the receiver clearly should have caught that. That's general accuracy. And then difficult catches to me are catches where I'd go, that you wouldn't blame him for not catching that ball. Like you're not, that's a non-completion, but he caught it. And when I looked at Lamar, I looked at that, and he was way over the mark of what you would want for the minimum to the ride, and completion percentage when I eliminated his drops. And it's the same thing when you look at media. The thing with media is that they're looking for a story. They're looking for their completion percentage is clicks and conversation and discussion. And so their aims are not our aims. Our aims as either content providers trying to analyze the game and help people learn, or for fans who are trying to really understand the game. They're not going to get it from people who don't take the time to learn the game beyond a casual level, and are just because their time is spent on cultivating stories that get the most clicks. It's not one and the same thing anymore, and I don't know if it ever really was.
Yeah, you look at the essentially the walk-off throw to Colston Loveland against the Bengals. I mean, if he threw that with absolute pinpoint accuracy exactly where it probably should have been, he's never getting a touchdown out of that.
Yeah.
Right.
On that. It's just, I mean, it's yeah.
You're right. I mean, it's okay that people are got their heads so far up their asses about other priorities that they can't see what's happening in front of their eyes, because it's dark down there. It probably smells
too.
Yeah.
So Matt, I know we don't have you for long, but I just want to rip through this real quick. I did this
and we can go a little more. I'm okay today.
We did this with David Kaplan from ESPN when he was on with us, and I think it gives the people in the chat just kind of
the beat reporters that
everybody watching. I'm going to give you we're going to go through every starting quarterback in the NFL, and you just tell me if you would take. And it's based on today. It's not based on whatever. It's based on. So when I say Aaron Rodgers, it's Aaron Rodgers today.
Now, not from when we drafted them.
Right.
It's how they are right now.
Yep.
31
but it's
verse 1.
I always laugh because when they say Caleb Williams in this was ranked number 18, and I'm like, how the fuck do you get there? But we'll start right off from the top. Kyler Murray or Caleb Williams? I know you're laughing, but you got to answer. Right, so
if they're playing baseball, I might take Kyler. I wouldn't. Kyler would be the last starting quarterback I would take.
There you go.
Free Michael Wilson. That's what I will say.
Yeah.
I said it last week before he even went off for 15 for 185.
Michael Penix.
I'd take Caleb, and I like Michael Penix.
Lamar Jackson.
I'd take Lamar.
Okay, so there's one. Josh Allen.
I'd take Josh Allen, but only because you said the present.
Yep. Bryce Young.
Oh, I'd take Caleb. And I like Bryce Young too.
Well, I guess we can go to. So, do you want to go with Joe Flacco or Shador Sanders or Dylan Gabriel? Any of them?
I would buy the Browns, get everyone the fuck out of that place, and I would kidnap Caleb Williams.
Skylar Thompson. No, I'm kidding.
You can back him up.
Dak Prescott.
Caleb.
Bo Nix.
Caleb.
Jared Goff.
I'd take Caleb. That's close.
I'm with you.
Jordan Love.
Fuck no. I'd take Caleb.
CJ Stroud.
Caleb.
Daniel Jones.
Caleb.
Trevor Lawrence.
Now that any Colts fans listening to this are going to definitely think
that motherfucker. Yeah,
that motherfucker. He's a turd. Okay. What was
Trevor Lawrence?
Trevor.
Okay.
Caleb, you said?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Mahomes. So now we're at 3. Geno Smith.
No.
Herbert.
Yes, begrudgingly, because he makes a stupid fucking throw every game, but he makes some of the most beautiful throws you'll see.
Okay, so we're up to 4. Matt Stafford.
I'd take Stafford this year for sure.
Okay. Tua.
No. Caleb.
JJ.
Oh, Caleb.
Drake May.
Caleb.
Tyler Shuck.
Caleb.
Jackson Dart.
Caleb.
You can we'll throw 2 in here. Tyrod Taylor, Justin Fields.
Caleb.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts.
Caleb.
Aaron Rodgers.
Caleb.
Brock Purdy.
I would probably say Purdy, but it's close.
Sam Darnold.
This year, Sam Darnold.
Baker.
This year, Baker.
Okay, so we are up to 7, I think we're at. Cam Ward.
Oh, Baker. I'm not Baker. Do I say Baker? Caleb.
And then we ended up with Jaden Daniels, and we kind of know where you're going there.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're at 7,
12 or 13. You know,
7 or 8 that you would take over Caleb.
Yeah.
So Caleb would be 9 or 8.
Solidly in the top. Solidly in the top 10.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you expand it to who are you taking over you don't even have to say 5 years. If you say the next
2 years, maybe 2 years.
2 years, you're probably not taking Stafford
I'm
over.
not taking
Caleb.
Stafford.
Right.
I'm not taking Darnold.
Yeah.
I'm not taking. The only ones I'm taking are probably Caleb. I mean, the ones I'm taking are Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, if he can stay healthy. Because we didn't say Burrow. I would.
Oh yeah,
Burrow
I did skip
too.
them. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, because Burrow's fucking awesome. If he can, his team sucks, but he's awesome. What a shame. I'd probably begrudgingly take Allen just because while I think he's a little bit reckless at times with things, he's a damn good quarterback.
But so by expanding it to 2 years,
for 2 years, he might be better than them.
You're moving him up into the top 5.
Yes.
Solidly. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, I disagreed with Darnold. I wouldn't. I'd take Caleb over Darnold in your grading. I agreed with everyone.
Darnold was tough.
No.
Darnold's tough because you know that he falls apart when he pushes too hard.
Yep.
But when I looked at his numbers versus pressure, not blitzes, but like base pressure, he had some of the best numbers last year, and it's continuing this year. So I'm kind of I've changed I've kind of feel like that he's come out of some of the tailspin enough that it wasn't just the system, but I'm not, but I expect Caleb to be better than him in 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think that's a crazy statement to make at all.
The other thing I'd take Caleb over Purdy too. For me, looking at everything else, those are the only 2.
Well, I guess again, if like I said, these things you can expand it to include money.
On the same,
one's on a rookie contract, and
just based on talent and what you did is the best.
I just like the thing I liked about Purdy, because I think I understand why you take Caleb. I almost did too. The only reason I didn't is I think Purdy is a very good anticipation thrower, and he moves so well in the pocket that I think when I thought about it, I go, well, if I put Purdy on this team, how would they do? And I'd feel like he would do just as well, if not slightly better, just because of how good he is at making things happen. But I think Caleb would have more wild plays. I just think that Purdy would be able to probably move things around because he has a little bit more experience in a drop pack passing game in a West Coast offense, the West Coast of West Coast offenses.
The West
so
Coast.
That's the way.
That's what I
for me. That's the edge.
And it might come down to, and this is again, we didn't base it this way, but Purdy in Chicago with the elements might be different than Purdy in San Francisco. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. But dude played at Iowa, so I mean, that's
Iowa State.
Iowa State. I just meant the state of Iowa more.
I
don't want to get the Hawkeyes mad, but
what's his name?
That's Phil's college team right there, the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Dave, what's his name from Barstool? Dave.
Oh, Dave Portnoy.
And them were ragging on Iowa State versus Iowa. I was watching that clip today.
I had a friend who went to Iowa State, and he was like, I never saw so much snow in my life. He was like, that's a fucking white desert there, So
flat as
So-
hell, and it's always snowing.
Speaking of weather, you'll enjoy this because we were talking about CHGO. When I was in Chicago, I was at the tailgate with Greg Braggs and went over and met Adam Hogue, and we were chatting. He's like, "Where are you from?" And Greg's like, "Oh, he's a Syracuse guy," and he's like, "Oh, I almost went to school there." And I'm like, "Oh, you really?" He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "I just couldn't deal with the winters." I'm like, "Oh, so you pivoted and went to Wisconsin?"
Is this Adam Hogue?
Yes.
That was the dude who pickled up when I started
yeah,
talking about
yeah.
media and everything on
Yeah,
the Barroom show. Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go.
Couldn't handle it in Syracuse, so you
Couldn't handle
pivoted,
it, so he
pivoted and went to Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, great.
Wow, that's like that's like saying I can't handle being a Browns fan anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and be a Cardinals fan. I mean, like, I don't know.
The perfect analogy.
Yeah. Somebody on X there a couple of weeks ago, because my father's a rabid baseball fan like Phil and I are with football, but my dad, born and raised in New York, was a Brooklyn Dodgers fan when they were there, and then when they moved to LA, he stayed a Dodgers fan. So I had no choice. I was had to go with my dad. And when the Dodgers won the World Series, everybody's like, you fucking bandwagoner, who likes the fucking Dodgers? And I'm like, I'm sitting here talking about the Bears every day, and you're calling me a bandwagon fan. I
Right.
mean, holy shit! What do we do?
I know. But,
You're a life.
I mean, listen, I mean, my dad grew up in lived in Denver. So when my parents got divorced, we moved back to Cleveland, and he was in Denver since '73.
Yeah.
I've been to more Broncos games
Yeah.
than I've been to Browns games, and the Broncos have not won a single game, including 2 playoff games when I've gotten to go, and I've enjoyed rooting against them in the Elway era. So
Did the
yeah.
beat reporters yell at John Elway for throwing the ball too hard?
Yes, they didn't. Yes, they there was both awe and wonder and consternation, and there were questions about whether he was actually going to make it. And I remember when Terry Bradshaw basically was ragging on him and was ragging on Aaron Rodgers, and it happened. It is what it is. I mean, the good thing is that you guys have a legitimate team now in terms of like where it's going. A terrific head coach, a really budding offense, and a defense that's playing when they're got all their players are pretty aggressive, and I like the Brisker kid, and I like how how they can blitz those corners and some of the work that they can
Phil's
do.
Phil's gonna slap you.
Yeah, he probably will. But
Not a big fan
I haven't been watching a ton of them,
Yeah.
but when I see him, it's usually a good play. So excuse me if I don't know my head from my ass from the defensive side of the ball. I just see him making good plays occasionally. Go,
Yeah,
I
shut
like
up and
that.
stick to
Fuck off.
offense, Waldman. Jesus Christ.
That's where I am. I mean, the last time I was looking at defensive players, I thought that Geno Atkins and Aaron Donald kids were pretty damn good. And that's when I stopped.
Not bad.
But I stopped since then, so it's been a while. Or I think Matabwike was my last guy that I was profiled and said, "Oh, that's pretty good."
Yeah.
But that was what 5 years ago,
Yeah.
5-6 years ago. So I haven't really kept up since.
Since you brought up Brisker, it's another funny thing with TTNL. Shane and I were talking post on BHL, and the likely or possibility of Kyler Gordon coming back. Now the Bears did something they've never done, and they take a dog who has a reputation, a player that has immense ability but runs his mouth and sets a tone but backs it up with his performance. They have shied away from that. CJ Garner Johnson, he comes here, starts showing up and showing out, right? So I say no matter what, you got to keep him on the field. So even if I love Kyler Gordon, clearly the Bears paid him, love him. But if he comes back, I'm putting CJ Garner Johnson in for Brisker while moving Brisker to linebacker. And I honestly believe this is going to transpire on the field at some point for Bears fans to see. And it's just another thing that we do here that kind of gets overlooked, Matt. And you've been kind of like a therapist for us in regards to, okay, the media then covers it, TTNL has said it for 2 years, and then they don't get any credit. So we try to live in the underground, in the underbelly of trying to teach fans the truth about the Bears and these personnel decisions and these players, and watching, and I'm bringing this full around, listening to Ben Johnson basically say that, oh, no matter what, we got to keep Garner Johnson on the field. This is a football coach now. That's another feather in his hat, where I know that his priority is to win and put the best 11 on the field on both sides of the ball at all times, and who's going to give the best to win. And I say all of this to get you to the point of the craziest criticism and manipulation of truth ever has been through Caleb Williams. And it's like performance each and every week that you basically defined quarterback play tonight so eloquently, the job description and what it is. And Caleb is doing things each and every Sunday to dispel every negative thing said about him, yet he still is being talked about as this quarterback that, you know, look at his his touchdown numbers, or this, the percent. But it's really a problem around him now with what you were talking about, DJ Moore. Not running his routes, not getting to the point in the stem, a drop here or there. But none of that goes to that, you know, or the reporter saying Caleb's throwing the ball too hard. That's why they're dropping the ball. Like, I've never seen anything like this before, but maybe in because we're just looking in regards to the Bears, is this something all around covering NFL?
Yes. Last week, I'll give you a perfect example. I'm in Atlanta. I posted last week how McMillan got a touchdown at the end of the game. The touchdown came against Caden Ellis, a rush linebacker. Okay. They matched him up against the rush linebacker. He beat him easily, and then it was a scramble drill, and he beat him again. Okay. The first comment that came on X when I showed that play, and I just said, you know, Tetaro McMillan earns the touchdown matched up against linebacker Caden Ellis. I don't say how ridiculous that is. I don't comment on it in any way. I just presented it straight. And the first comment was like, we need to cut Caden Ellis if he can't cover that guy. So, yeah. Okay. So we could play the Kaplan game and ask how many rush linebackers can cover a wide receiver in the NFL on that route. And I think the answer would probably be one or two at best. And I don't even know who they would be.
I think the one dude in Cleveland, maybe that's it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, if you count Grant, you put Grant Delpit.
Yeah,
you put Grant Delpit at linebacker in like Schlesinger's pads, maybe that would happen, you know, on a good day. But I mean, that's what happens, is that, you know, people react to the football that they know and with the football that they know. And it's a fan game, and and everything's built towards reacting and generating emotion and advancing storylines and gossip. I mean, if you can stomach the Jerry Jones documentary on Netflix for any length of time, I watched some of it just because I wanted to see what Jimmy Johnson was going to say, because I'm a Jimmy Johnson fan. And you could see very clearly that Jerry Jones is doing exactly what he wanted to do, which was he wanted to make the Cowboys a storyline and the NFL a storyline every day of the year. Yep. That was his goal. Super Bowls, that'd be nice. They definitely want to do that. But the bigger business proposition was being in the news, being heard, being seen, and creating controversy if need be to do it. And he's done that very well. I mean, when it comes to the team stuff, you know, if you watch that movie about the wrestler who got shot by the DuPont hair, you know, you look at Steve Carell's character who played the DuPont hair.
I remember that movie. That was great.
Yeah, and he's acting like he's the wrestling coach.
Yeah.
You know, there was a
Yep.
scene with Barry Switzer after they got rid of Jimmy Johnson and ran him out, where Jerry's on the field wearing like coach's gear and trying to tell Barry what to do, and Barry goes, Jerry, that's not how things are done. That's not how things are going to be done here. Like, just telling them, like, look, I mean, it was nice to see, at least, because I felt embarrassed for Barry Switzer when I was a fan and saw him installed in his place. But to see that he had enough of a backbone to look at Jerry and go, quit doing this crazy fantasy football shit behind me and trying to suggest to me that how to run certain things. You know, I mean, he was putting it nicely, but it was true. And that's the thing. I mean, people are not going to be convinced about Caleb until a few years have passed and he starts producing the stats that people think are meaningful and the wins that people think are meaningful. I mean, here's the other thing. I remember talking, and I wasn't the only person with a scouting background saying this about Lamar Jackson, that he was the best pocket mover, not run around scrambler, but maneuverer in traffic and staying in the pocket as a passer in his draft class. And you said that to most fans, and they would just think it was the most fucking ridiculous thing you ever heard until last year. Until guess who on Monday Night Football on his show with his little brother said, no, Lamar Jackson's a great pocket passer. It took Peyton Manning. You know, it took Peyton Manning for people to believe that. That's how it worked.
I hate that. I don't
the
know
whole
why. I just hate that it takes Peyton to say it, and people wait. It's happening all the time. But I wasn't a big Lamar guy. I was a little concerned about some things with him, but after watching him in the NFL, I'm like, oh my god!
But you also
talk about a
can't
guy that's grown and
you also
understand.
can't
Look at
make
the
shit
growth.
up to try to push your narrative, and I think that's what happens so often, because we went through it here with the lead up to the 2024 draft. Is there was people that do this for a living that said you can't even find one snap of Caleb Williams taking a snap from under center in college. And I'm like, Phil, we have it right here. I mean, what are we doing? And then and right now, who's the fourth leading passer in the NFL from under center? It's Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Has the fourth most passing yards.
The best way to get people to think that. Yeah, I mean the best way to get people to think you're lying is to tell them the truth.
Yeah,
I mean it's
true.
always been that way,
line.
and it's
TTNL. That should be a motto here.
Yeah, look it up because I don't know who to attribute that
under
to.
Shane.
I don't know who to attribute it to, but it is a famous quote. But I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, you're right, and playing under center. The fact, we're just seeing him transition and do more advanced work, and we're expecting him to be. People are either expecting him to be perfect, or they don't know what they're looking at in terms of what is good and what's not good. And it's long been that way, whether it's been the arts, whether it's been sports, whether it's been any subject that has a performance aspect to it. You can go look up, like, I'm not a big classical music fan, but go look at, and Dan was talking about how it was going to take a decade to unlearn bad habits.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, listen,
like not going out of bounds in the back of the end zone.
He does a fantastic job getting attention. I mean, that's what his job is, and he's doing endorsements now too. So I mean, that's his job. So fine. But when it comes to actually, maybe saying things that are just grounded in the, a little bit more accuracy. I don't know if those guys have time to do that sometimes because of the amount of demands that are on them to just talk.
Yeah, it is. It's
flip-flops more than South Carolina.
I sent Phil, I don't know how many clips was there, 10 of them, Phil, of Colin Cowherd that were all strung together from the past, 5 or 6 years. And it's like, guys, we are seeing next. His name is Josh Rosen. And it's then he goes on to the next one, and then he's like
Josh Rosen.
Yeah, then he's like, LeBron, take the night off, buddy. I'm here to watch Ben Simmons. We're safe. He's taking, it's different sports. It's just a crazier fucking take as we go.
Man. I look at Caleb and there's a throw. I don't know if you saw the tape this week, Matt, but the throw to Adunze in the end zone through this window, and Adunze, instead of being I called it a Chad Johnson with eyes on the ball and just fucking catch the ball. He puts one hand out and he wastes this throw. He's worried about getting hit instead of getting there. And fans, it was too hard, And I look at that like I played with Wayne Corbett at Hofstra. Wayne would have fucking caught that thing easy, tapped his feet in, touchdown, because it was just amazing to see this throw. And it goes unnoticed by the Bears media, the Bears fan, not all, but most. And it's like, to me, that's growth because he put it in the one place in the red zone that your receiver needed to be and needed to be a better effort. It just wasn't a good effort by Adunze. And fans get all fucking butthurt about what you're talking about with DJ Moore. I've been calling this shit out. Like, you can't round a flag route. A quarterback is throwing in anticipation of the geometric angle with which they expect you to be. So if I'm on a 5-step drop and you're running a fake post to flag, once you're in that fucking plant foot, say you're going right, now he's anticipating your angle. If you round that flag, it's gonna he overthrew him.
Horrible pass. Yeah.
Horrible pass. They just don't get it. And there's no
think about broadcast. How about the DeAndre Swift overthrow? Quote,
my, it was on him.
It was on Swift because he flattened out that break rather than drifting towards the boundary and they were worried and Caleb saw it and was worried about Pace or what's his name? Pace. I forget.
Yeah, the linebacker.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I like him too. I joke that my dog
Ivan Pace.
Ivan Pace. My dog tries to copy him. He's all blitz and no coverage, but Yvonne had a shot of like undercutting that.
Yeah.
Undercutting that route because of the angle that Swift took. And you could see that Caleb was throwing that to the boundaries. So, I mean, these are things that people just don't know. And they're also, it's entertainment for them.
Yep.
It's not analysis. Analysis for them is fun. And they're sitting on their armchair. They've had a few beers. They've overloaded themselves on whatever it is that they decided to eat. They've just woke up from a nap, and saw some of this. Or they're playing it seriously for that moment. In their mind, it's very serious to them. And I get that. They're into the game and they're drawing on some of the football knowledge that they've had from years of playing and doing different things. But at the same time, they're just popping off. They're not rewinding plays and defining what what everything is supposed to be and what it's not supposed to be and doing and spending years every day doing this kind of work. So it's just and everyone has a profession where they see something and they armchair scout it.
Oh yeah.
And we do it with stuff all the time. And if a real expert came along, they'd go, God, you fucking piss me off listening to people like you talking about this shit.
Yeah.
And that's just human nature.
Let me piggyback question. I just felt like even now we've seen it and we've called it out here. Adam Archuleta, Greg Olson, Troy Aikman, the broadcast responsibility of showing this. They have the opportunity to teach it. Where I felt like growing up as a kid, John Madden would fucking point out that's on the receiver. Swift's got to get deep. He would do that so that the player was protected. The young quarterback that's fucking doing this right and is growing in this is protected, and the fan is protected almost.
But he was a coach. He was a coach.
Yeah.
He was one of us in the sense that he was a coach and he was geeked out about the game. Some of these guys, I mean, they know the game in terms of from their perspective very well, and they've been rewarded for that. And they get to dress up and look, wear their best suit. And some of them aren't prepared for the game as much as they should be. And they get scripted information, and they're not really grinding and doing it because they got other commitments or things to do, and they're getting paid money to not be at their excellent. And the guys who were at their best, sometimes people found them to be boring. A Charles Davis, a Chris Spielman. I could listen to Chris Spielman talk football all fucking day.
Chris Spielman is great.
I learned more about running back play in my early days of scouting from listening to Chris Spielman doing one of my favorite I remember watching D'Angelo Williams and Michael Bush playing each other, Memphis versus Ole Miss. I think that was, or wasn't Ole Miss. Was it? Yeah, so Michael Bush was, I forget where Michael Bush was.
Was he
Louisville?
Yeah.
Louisville, that's what it was.
Those red
Yeah, I also saw D'Angelo playing Patrick Willis at Ole Miss. That's what I got confused about because I scouted him both of those games. But Chris Spielman was doing both those games, and I learned so fucking much about running back play just from him talking about what Michael Bush should be and what he wasn't, and what D'Angelo Williams was, that Michael Bush, it would come easy for him if he had the mentality. And I used to, even watching the pro games where they would always pair him with a third guy because Chris was too geeked out football wise for the producer's taste, probably. They would always do, they always do those bits in the beginning where they talk about keys to the game. And usually, the guys are hit or miss with their keys, and it's hard to tell. But Chris, more than anybody, when I would listen to him, he would add in some little one-liner at the end and go, well, if they could do this by the third quarter, and then sure enough, he would be fucking right. It would be like some just little and you could tell the guy literally studied the game at such a high level, and he was a grinder, and we don't get that nowadays. And that's the problem is that, thanks for having me, but the problem is that it's not, that stuff doesn't entertain, it informs. And so we live in an age where it's all about the numbers and all about the short-term stuff, and it's about the sweets rather than the candy, rather than the nutrients, and if you're gonna stay with the nutrients, you're not going to be as popular, and that's just the way it is. But the people that you do have in your audience love you guys. They love how authentic you are. They love the information that you get. They love that, that when either of you are wrong or you think your guest is wrong, you're going to say something about it, and you're not going to play polite about it. You'll be nice about it, but you're going to call out what you think. And they like that. And they gravitate to that. My buddy Adam Harstead, who's a fantasy football writer of the year, and I do a show with him every other week, and he's a model. He does modeling type of stuff. Certified. He lives in Chicago, actually. He lives in the Hancock. I'm not going to say where he lives. He lives in downtown Chicago. I probably just gave it away. but the
62nd floor.
Yeah, the 62nd floor of this building. But Adam is one of the most intelligent human beings I've ever met. And he is he does a good look at models, and he's a very good fantasy football player, but he knows what he knows and knows what he doesn't know, and he's very good about that. But he also talks about, he goes, you call for the audience that you want.
Yeah.
He goes, that's kind of what you do. And if you remind yourself of that, then if you decide to be one of these look at me people, then you're going to have to deal with whatever you think the idiot faction of that audience is, and they're going to be an anchor for you. And then if your audience are people who are like, I don't give a fuck what some of this stuff is, I just want to know, I want authentic personalities who are trying to show me stuff. And I might not always agree with them, but I don't have to listen to them because I find their takes are worthwhile. Like There's a lot of shit I've just said that probably would be like exactly Kevin. Thank you. Adam's gonna hate me tomorrow. He won't be there tomorrow. He's got a dentist appointment with his kids. But I'll be there with I will be there with a shotgun at my dog. I will be getting in my car tonight to make my way up there to guard his house. But no, that's the thing is that you're gonna say you're gonna be wrong. You guys talk about where you're wrong.
Yeah, well,
I had doubts about Josh Allen. I certainly wasn't like I thought he was probably more likely to crash the way people thought Lamar Jackson would. And I thought that would be harder for him to develop than Lamar Jackson would. And to credit to him, he's been very, very good. Now you get Bills fans who think I'm an asshole because it took me, 3 to 4 years to give him his flowers, for their taste. But, that's because you have a process and you stick with it.
100%.
And until you see evidence that proves you wrong.
You mean a quarterback is allowed to develop for 3 or 4 years? Because I was told here, this is it for Caleb. If he doesn't do it now, this is what beat reporters are reporting.
Well, that's what they know. That's what they know. So all they're doing is leaning on what they know, not what
Bears don't. Do you think the Bears don't know what they have in Caleb Williams and they have to guess?
Well, they do now because Ben's here.
No, I'm saying I know that. Me and you know that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying we have a reporter saying, and I'm paraphrasing, well, the Bears don't know what I'm talking last week. They don't know what they have in Caleb yet. So they can't go all in on defensive ends. And I'm like, wait, what? Caleb is the future, bro. It's the Bears are fucking
the future and the present. Yeah.
Oh my God. I'll let Matt answer it. Do the Bears know, Matt?
When they extended Tyson Bagent, people were saying that's the Bears showing they're ready to pivot. And that happened before the season. I'm like, what? Holy fuck.
They extended him so that if that in case Caleb gets hurt, Caleb has some sort of weird personality flip that nobody would possibly know and get mentally ill, God forbid, or they can have a manageable contract for Bagent when they trade his ass.
Yes,
to a team that needs him, and your buddy down there saying they're begging for Myles Garrett. If I were Myles Garrett and I was looking for another team, who would I want to play for? I'd want Caleb Williams on offense.
Well, did you hear about the trade deadline with Chicago and Cleveland?
No, I didn't. I have not followed Cleveland football this year very much.
Well, they traded for Shoyanka there, but they called. They were trying to get Garrett to see what it would take.
But the point that our Scottish Bear is making, if these reporters and 670 The Score and ESPN, if they can't see that you're going all in on Myles Garrett because of 18, I just don't know what to tell you. Like, change your narrative. Get behind this kid.
Yeah,
it baffles me.
But it doesn't, it doesn't create chatter. It creates outrage, and that's what they want. Is they want outrage. They've learned that. Even if you look, I'm sure if they're sitting in home quietly, getting ready to go to sleep, and they got their jammies on, and they've read their kids the bedtime story, and they're listening to their whale sounds or whatever they can do to calm them down from the drama of the day the shitstorm maelstrom that they created. They would probably tell you, I just want a peaceful life, but they wouldn't realize that they're literally, just creating. Their job is to create drama. And I mean, that's the thing, is like, if you don't want drama, you just shut it down. And you don't have to be, as I get older, and I probably am closer in age to you guys, but I just look a lot fucking older because I spend too much time looking at film. But and I don't dye my hair.
We're all
like
old.
Yeah, I'm 56. So actually, I'm 55. I just keep telling myself I'm 56 because I'm getting prepared for that next year. This is the first birthday in my life that I keep saying I'm the wrong age. So that tells you I'm getting old.
I hit the big. I hit
old
the
I
big
am.
50. Well, I'm 49, but next July of 26, I hit 50. Yeah.
Now, I will say
Steven's birthday.
that in addition to the fact that I didn't know what my birthday fucking was, that scared me enough that now I'm doing about 180 push-ups and squats every other day. At this point, I'm up to about 15 an hour for 12 hours.
You got to
every
put
other
that
day.
hat back on. Take your dog for a fucking walk.
I do that too. Oh, this one, this one, my one for
Oh,
the manure.
no.
Yeah, look, this is the one I throw on the manure, so my dog won't lie in it and think I'm hunting big game. Because he literally tries to throw himself on deer dung to like camouflage himself, and he saw horses for the first time this weekend, and he literally my dog is like built like an anvil. Okay, he literally looks like a fucking anvil, and he literally, these two horses come up full grown, big ass horses coming up the hill, and he sees them, and you see him tilt his head like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
And then he turned his body sideways to try and give
That's
like
the biggest fucking dog I've ever seen.
Yeah, like I'm big. I'm up on this hill and don't fuck with me. And then
I thought you used it. I thought you were going to use it as a poop bag.
Yeah, exactly.
It is.
And he literally, it was the funniest thing. I mean, but then he saw him get closer, and he starts growling, and then he like wagged his tail very friendly like, and and he wanted to play, but I'm like, we need to. These horses don't know you. Let's get you off the side of the road.
Let's get out of here.
But yeah, he saw the big pile of manure and literally tried to flop himself in, and I had to pull him out of the way so that otherwise we were going down. We were going down. Yeah, he was literally. That's what he would do because he when I got him, he was literally came out of the woods, and apparently, according to my friend who found him, the only part of civilization in a 10-mile radius that she went to that was around when she saw him, they go, have you seen this dog? Oh yeah, he's been around here for the past 8 to 10 weeks, scrounging around. So he's a survivor. So yeah, he literally went Rambo, like he was gonna hunt horses. So I got to keep taking him back there so that he understands that comes out of those things that you ain't trying to hunt. So don't try to camouflage yourself,
That's awesome.
Matt Waldman. Matt, if you're tuning in, which most of you are, Corn Planter's here. He's a week late, Shane.
He is. He missed Claudio.
The best guest.
Voted
best.
I got another
guest.
hat.
Can we send him a Bears hat, Shane?
I've been shopping for him, and I just didn't like the ones that they had available here. So like, I'm gonna find me one, but I want to find it proper. So
yeah.
Well, a proper one usually comes as a gift.
That's true. It could.
We need a TTNL hat.
Are you a fitted hat guy or a stretch fit or?
He's a stretch fit.
Let's see. I like the new era caps that like don't have that thing, and they're not stretched. They're just I wear
fitted.
Yeah, fitted. I like fitted. I'm a 7 3/8.
7 3/8.
Yeah. So
Kerry Franklin is currently on NFLshop.com.
Yeah. Well,
or 7.5. 7.5 works too. 7.5. That's probably better.
There you go. 7.
Especially when I don't cut my hair.
There you go.
Like that you're doing. I've been doing all the workouts as well.
See, look at you.
50. Yeah, I'm down 53 pounds.
Congratulations, man. That's fantastic.
Still 5'6".
Still 5'7".
Hey,
give me that inch. And I put on 15 pounds of muscle too. So the wife is so happy right now.
See, I'm doing that and dead hangs. So I'm up to I want to be able to do dead hangs for about 3 minutes. That's my goal. And I'm at and my push-ups, my goal is to be able to do 25 an hour for 12 hours, and then work my way to be able to do 100 in a row. It's a big goal. We'll see, but when
are you going to do the cold tub?
I'm not doing the cold tub. That shit'll give you a stroke. I ain't doing that.
Kerry Franklin, our guy.
I thought Phil was all about this.
Let's throw curls.
It's all about the dumbbells, you know.
No,
beach
no.
body, baby. You gotta get that beach body ready.
I do triceps and biceps like once per week, and then I'll go in. I always do the stair climber. That's my cardio. So I do 20 minutes if I'm
Stewart's getting in his cardio with the size of the fucking hat he's wearing. Size
look
8.
at him.
God damn.
He's a fucking
he's got a big ass brain under that thing going
He is
on.
a smart and caring human being.
See, he's a half size smarter than I am already. That's a good.
I
good.
have video, Shane. I gotta send you. It was only like a clip of Carrie Franklin at, I forget how old Carrie is. I believe 60. Sprinting.
Oh yeah.
He's doing sprints. We're
Good for
working out
him.
with Common the rapper.
He's Carries are the cold plunge every day guy.
Hey, listen, I've heard that was really good, and then I just also heard that they've done some studies recently where that shit also can lead to strokes. So you got to be careful. So I don't have all the info on it, but I just read that literally yesterday, and I was like, fuck, but like.
Carrie will send you a few articles on this.
I'm sure he will, and that's cool. I'm glad with that. But like, I've heard how great it was for years, but at the same time, no, I'm doing my thing. I've gotten to about 50 seconds in a row dead hanging. So if I can do about 10 pull-ups, get to doing about 10 pull-ups, I want to get in great shape. So that's what I'm trying to do. And
good, man.
Very nice.
We'll see how it goes. I walk 5 miles a day with that damn dog.
Well, I'm gonna call you tomorrow or something and give you a couple things that help me.
Cool.
All right, because if you really want to get in shape, I know the way.
There you go.
I've unlocked something.
Yeah,
that's it. I'm proud of that. The work that you put in, because you're a worker.
Yep, I've been doing good. I mean, so far. Where I'm at, I used to be able to do pretty good. I mean, I used to do a lot of working out, but once you start scouting, it was off and on for me. But
you're grabbing fucking quick food.
But now it's like every hour I have a timer set, and then it's like, okay, time to do the reps, and then I do the reps. And
that's great.
And so that works for me. And but yeah, I mean, I haven't even looked at the scale because I know I'm within range of where I've been my lightest in over the years, and so I know that I'm continuing to work there, and I'm eating well. But yeah, I mean, it was sad, man. Like I started at push-ups, and I could only do 3 an hour when I started, and now I'm at 15. So it's like, and it only took 4 months. So
sweet.
You just keep working,
chipping away,
and figure out your way of doing it. So
we'll see.
It didn't all happen on the first day.
It didn't all
media.
No, I didn't. It wasn't. And I didn't have media going.
Yes,
Well, Matt Waldman is a
generator. Matt Waldman is also a generational talent. So
generational.
Still got to work.
Thank God I didn't have media analyzing what I was doing. Jesus Christ. Took a day off. If I took a day off, man, what was going to happen? I'd probably get cut. So
first guy in, last guy out.
But yeah,
we can use you once you get up to a minute. We can get you at the carnival on those hangs.
Oh yeah, I'm almost there. I can consistently do about 40 to 45. So
that's
now
awesome.
and do 2 or 3 in a row with 30-second break in between. I can generally do that, but I hit 50.
Generational pecs.
See, there you go. Working on that.
You gotta work on those.
I can squat. I could squat all day. I could do squats all day. That was never a problem. So
you got to put a picture of Waldman doing his dead hang in the back of the RSP.
We'll get there. I think we might do that. I might just wait until I start being able to do pull-ups, and then when I'm 70 and I'm doing 10 pull-ups and doing kettlebells and doing shit like that, I'll do it then. Then I can go shirtless and like have a rip.
He didn't say kegel balls.
I got it up.
Balls. There we go.
He didn't say kegel balls.
I didn't say kegel balls. No. No.
I love balls.
I'm sure. Look, I think every woman should love those, but good for you.
Oh, I love it.
I love it. But no,
Well,
man. Thank y'all for
Matt,
having me.
appreciate you coming on the show. Obviously, the fans have always spoken about how you're probably their favorite guest.
Can I ask one question? Real quick. Monangai or Swift for you?
Oh, for sure. I would say, does it have to be an either or? If it does, then I would
say
take the non-guy.
okay. That really that's like, who would you lead with? Like, who would be your guy that you come out and you're confident that he's going to be at least until you get the other back in some touches, he's going to do the job for you.
I think because of the way they're running the offense right now and doing a lot of play action and drops off of that, it really depends. I hate to hedge like this, but it's like it depends on the game plan. Because if you have defenses where their strength is the inside running game, then you want to go with Swift and doing, boots and different action off of that. And you can challenge that defense to react in ways that you don't want. Whereas if you're a weak ass team up the middle, then you want to pound him with Monangai and let him be the man from that vantage point. I think Monangai's the smarter, more technically sound runner with better contact balance. And I think he'll only continue to grow, and he could grow into being a junior management version of David Montgomery, but not quite at that level. But I think that Swift is just a better space player, and gives a little bit more of a threat with his speed on the outside. And the enemy's been doing a good job with getting him disciplined about what he's supposed to hit.
The enemy took the hardest hit of the fucking game last week.
I don't know if it was the hardest.
I thought,
Well, look,
guys hit on.
Did you see the false start that should have been called on DeAndre Swift?
I don't remember it, to be honest.
Well, it's great because it's something that Monangai wouldn't have done just because he hasn't been in the league long enough.
Right.
And DeAndre Swift sold it, so he went like this, and all in one fell swoop, he looked right, and then he looked left, and he's like, "Yep." And the whole fucking defensive line stands up and points to DeAndre Swift, and they never fucking called it.
Oh, I remember that wall pointing.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It was so great that but it was just that vet move,
That's
I'll
awesome.
tell you what, I think Monangai's presence has helped DeAndre Swift become the old DeAndre Swift from Georgia. I really believe that. I haven't seen DeAndre drop his pads, be determined. There's a wall of defenders. I would see him dive down. Now he's putting his face in there and dry. I mean,
and y'all know I loved Monangai, when we all got him. But so it's nice to see that he had that huge game against the hapless Bengals. But at the same time, I understand why they're using a 2-back committee at this stage. I know that my buddy Brandon really wants to see them get Sean Tucker if they can't get Brees Hall. If they,
they could have fucking pulled him right off of Tampa's practice squad last year because I got the Syracuse hat on. My son Riley is a massive Sean Tucker fan, so that's been a bone of contention in our house for 2 years. He's an underrated little back, man.
Yeah, for
Sean
sure.
Tucker is. Yep.
For sure. Now you asked who my comp was for Monangai. Let me look real quick, because I've been doing tape all day of what's his name? Makai Lemon over at USC.
Oh, yeah.
And I just wrote a scouting report on him at Football Guys, or at least kind of a version. Nice. So I had Monangai as like kind of even with Ray Davis of the Bills. Like he was kind of a Ray Davis guy to me. Like he's on that level, which is pretty darn good. And
Davis,
then
didn't he go in what round did he end up going in?
I think the fourth
round.
Yeah.
Monangai, and then 7th round.
Is he Kentucky or Memphis?
He was Kentucky.
Yeah, I always fuck those two.
So, but yeah, if I do it on a spectrum of players. So I kind of joke like the neighborhood he was in when he was drafted was Ray Davis.
Yeah.
The neighborhood that he could probably aspire to and get there reasonably quick is Jaylen Warren. And I think the neighborhood that that he would probably I can make a bad joke about this, but I will try not to. The neighborhood that he could ultimately get to if he could somehow gain more explosion in his game, and this player did do that from year 1 to year 2, was Ray Rice. Like if he could gain a little more weight, like 10 pounds of muscle, and it'd be quick twitch muscle, and he looked notably quicker like Ray Rice did from year 1 to year 2, you might have something there. But I'm not counting on that.
Yeah, I don't know who is the kid, Jesus, he played for the Bears for 1 year. Yeah, he actually passed away. Dallas drafted him, Marion Barber.
Yeah.
I see a little bit of that.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And he's probably closer to that in terms of style and limited acceleration.
Yeah, a little more stiff, but yeah, it's got a little bit of
but you got to bring your lunch pail and a friend to tackle Kyle in the open field, and that's what's so much fun. And he's a smart runner. That's the cool thing.
Exactly. That run,
he's going to end up leading him in touchdowns.
44. I swear to God, you talk about I'm saying a fuck you. That's a fuck you run.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a Bears back do that since Walter. He puts his fucking whole face and shoulder into. I thought he was going to knock 44 out cold. I was surprised he stayed in the game. I can't wait to break that play down for patrons tomorrow because it's just a showcase of what Matt's talking about here. There's a determined runner, and I love those types of runners. David Montgomery was a determined runner. I like that. And Kyle,
I have like maybe a 2-paragraph elevator pitch in my report I can read on him right now if you want. It just happens to be up.
Sure.
And it'll give you an idea. Like I gave him a score as a guy who could play at a starter level playing to his strengths. So he's not quite an instant starter, but could be a contributor right away. And I said he's a tough, smart runner with good feet and a low center of gravity. Added up in his game screams, never say die. Monangai uses his height and weight to his advantage. He's elusive in tight confines and thrives off stop-start movement, hip mobility, and contact balance to avoid or mitigate contact from multiple defenders in succession. His short area quickness and contact balance are the strength of his athletic profile as a runner. He may lack long speed, but he has a lot of play stamina that makes Ashton Genty a special prospect. That ability that your intensity and your rate of play and your speed of what you have remains the same from the beginning of the run, no matter what happens to the end. Yeah. And like at the end of the game, he's still playing and running as fast and as hard as he did at the beginning, no matter how much punishment he took. Marshawn Lynch had that. He's a great example of that player who didn't have special speed, but he still looked like he wasn't slowing down after he took on half your defense. He has strong contact balance. I think the only form I haven't seen him win is direct hits from defensive linemen. His acceleration is good enough to reach the secondary, and his play stamina is rare enough to force multiple defenders to rally to him. If they didn't get there with a similar amount of time, Monangai's determination and craftiness to regain the momentum and continue to make life difficult. He would be at least close to one of my top 5 backs on the board if he was a better pass protector. He has work to do with position his body, so he dictates terms with a balanced position and controlling that starting position at the point of the collision. He can catch with appropriate attack, but it allows the ball too close to him sometimes. He's not used often as a receiver, but he should be able to deliver as a check down option based on what I saw. Ray Rice and Maurice Jones-Drew are the two at the top of the continuum for me for this short but not small, powerful, agile, and quick type of back who can carry a substantial workload. And recent players along this continuum were Warren, Ray Davis, and Monangai could be the best of these recent additions despite being the slowest. I think he'll earn a roster spot. It won't shock me if he earns a recurring role and eventually a productive one too.
You're right on the
Spot
money.
on.
And I got to say, there's a play off action, heavy play where if they have a fullback, Monangai, and a heavy run action picks up a blitzing linebacker. Like, okay, fucking Bieniemy is really coaching this kid up because he fucking squats and stops the dude dead in his tracks so Caleb could throw. I mean, it's coming. The reality.
He may not be the long-term answer. He might surprise everybody and be a stalwart that's there that gets a second contract, and you know that when he comes into the game, you're okay with that. You're either happy with it or you're like, I'm not mad at them that they took our starter out of the game because we know what this guy can do.
Yeah, and I mean I think he's a probably better overall running back, but the other Adrian Peterson that the Bears had for a long time.
Georgia Southern.
Yeah. Same type of guy. He was never going to come in there, and he might have a big game for you if somebody got hurt, like you said, but he stuck around. I think he ended up getting an extra deal in Chicago, but he ended up being there for, a nice little run.
Yeah.
I
Nothing
like
wrong with that.
Nungai is better.
Oh yeah.
Than I thought he would be, but he's better than what he was, Adrian Peterson. I'm just looking at the reality of his quad strength and his balance is just improved immensely over the course of these games. He's just becoming a more balanced. I'm excited about this kid for real.
I like him.
You got a 7th round pick coming in there, playing his heart out. You could see your draft description of him is spot on. So there you go.
And yeah, I mean, you've got such a great nucleus. You've got Adunze is coming along just fine. I know it's not where people want him to be, but he's going to be really good. He's already a good receiver. You've got Burden. You've seen the flashes with Burden. That dude might end up being your best receiver.
I just mentioned that the other night. I honestly expect it, Matt.
Natural hands catcher that just has a determination about him. It's very easy to see it now.
In fantasy football terms, I tell people all the time, if there's a player you need to buy into that you might be able to get at a discount, get Luther Burden, because he had as high of a grade as some of the top receivers I've graded in the past 5 years.
Yeah,
he was in that tier.
We talked about it pre-draft. I said, Matt, if he's there at 39 for Chicago, you got to pull the trigger. And we were like, yeah, if he's there, but
he was there.
Lord knows he was there.
Yeah,
and
he reacted to it that night. We had Waldman on the second round.
It was great. He's
amazing.
It's going to be, so you've got him. And Colston Loveland, I mean, shit. That dude does anything you ask him to do, and he does it well. I mean, I was trying to show Colts fans about, him as a blocker because they're saying he's not much of a blocker, and I'm going, again, what narrative were you buying without watching the film? Because I'm watching him pancake defensive ends on the Saints.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm watching him combo block. Along the offensive line. You need him to one arm, one guy on a combo block and then sprint halfway across the field and catch up to the defensive end and mow him down. Absolutely, he can do that. You need him to play a little fullback or wingback, he can do that. Oh yeah, and he's a dynamic receiver on top of that. And only last week was the first week I saw, and I may not have seen everything, but I've watched the Bears games every week. If I remember it correctly, last week was the first time he got some of those Kraft Warren gimme passes where they schemed open and he delayed released into the flat, and he didn't have 15 yards around him. He only had about 5. But that was the first time he had a couple of those. Most of the time it's been go downfield, run one-on-ones or find an open zone, but we're going to find you if you're available. We're not going to gift wrap it for you.
Yep.
So 7-3, you're goddamn right. 7-3, 7-3. And like the person said earlier, when you've been abused for a long time, you don't know how to identify what's good and what's not. And that probably sums it up better than anything we've said all night.
What I laugh at is when people say, well, the Bears haven't played anybody. I'm like, well, that's
Patriots didn't.
We've lost to not playing anybody for years.
Also, it's taking a past stance. Look, at the time when you played Dallas just threw an offensive, amazing performance the week before. We're coming in hot. You ripped the shit out of them. Then the narrative changes. Same thing with who was the other team we beat? They were coming in hot. Oh, the Commanders. Yeah. The Commanders were hot the week before. Jaden, is he going to play against the Bears? It's going to even be better. They won with Mariota or something the week before, and you beat that.
You can reverse
the NFL.
Yes,
you can fucking NFL. Stop.
Yes, you can reverse this whole idea, and instead of saying they haven't played anybody, you could say the league is so close in parity that everyone is anyone in any week, and so instead of going off about strength of schedule, we don't really know what strength of schedule is 100%. Until hindsight.
The Bears had one of the toughest strengths of schedule when the season
coming into
started.
the season.
Yeah.
They had the I think they were number 2.
Yeah, and the Patriots had the easiest since second easiest since 1978, according to some bullshit. But yeah, you play who you play. That's it.
Exactly. That's just how it works. Sometimes you get a good run.
Brandon, don't be a little bitch with your football fucking takes. I just listen to these people and see this narrative. Like, what Steeler team are we getting? I don't know, but I know they're well fucking coached. They're going to fucking play their asses off to beat you. So you better play.
Look at the drama that's brewing in Philly with everything. I mean, did you see
the fight with AJ Brown?
Seth Joyner coming out.
Coming out talking about Hurts.
Insubordination with Jalen Hurts. And yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
I heard that. I mean, my buddy Brandon keeps talking about how poor Patullo is as an offensive coordinator and how it's pretty much ruined everything there.
Yeah, but Devontae, they went rogue again. Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown did on that fourth down against the was it against the Giants? Forget who it was, and it didn't go so well. And they talked to Devontae Smith after the game, and he goes, "Well, yeah, that wasn't the call." He goes, "Number 1 and number 11 came up with that on their own, and whatever number 1 and number 11 want, they get." And he goes, "That wasn't the." And then Seth Joyner came out, and he completely threw Jalen Hurts under the bus yesterday on WIP. Yeah, he said
he works for the team.
Yeah, he's employed by him because he goes, "Yeah, I work with the insider in Philadelphia." He was talking about Dave Spadaro. Okay, he and Spadaro were talking the night before, and then he's like, "This is borderline insubordination with Jalen at this point."
Wow.
Hugh Douglas did the same thing today.
Wow.
Jalen Hurts under the bus. So but again,
drama. There's always drama in football.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a high pressure. It's a high pressure game. And it's sad because
you're usually so patient in Philly. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it. But, Santa Claus was very patient, when he aimed that snowball way back in the day. But yeah, I mean, it's such a high pressure game, and they amp up the pressure even more because owners again are quick to play fantasy football with their teams.
Oh yeah,
and don't really manage it with a lot of sense. And they want to put their hand in it a little bit too much, and that's the thing. I mean, it just becomes difficult because they do countermand a lot of practices that are trying to be steep and growing things. So maybe part of it, that's probably part of the benefit with Ben Johnson is that Ben Johnson, it wasn't just managing Ryan Poles, it was managing the ownership to say, listen, if you really want me, then you're going to have some concessions for me. And this is how I'm going to be doing things. And I don't want to hear anything from you. And if you fire me, I doubt he said this, but I bet in the back of it, he's thinking, well, if you fire me and you react too quickly, I'm just one of many probably many people who've gotten fired from the Bears, and I'll go on and I'll end up getting a second chance somewhere else because everyone knows how good of an offensive mind I am. They're going to want me being a coordinator again, and I'll get another shot. I mean, how many shots did Josh McDaniel get?
Yeah.
And he was apparently reportedly a prick in terms of how he dealt with people.
Yeah, and Rick Smith is Ben Johnson's agent from Priority Sports, and he's based in Chicago, lifelong Chicago Bears fan. So he was very well versed. Yeah, I mean, he came right out and said, "We know essentially the cesspool that has been here, and it's the truth." But you just got to get football guys in there, and hey, it's not going to happen overnight, but 7-3 feels pretty sweet right now.
It's a great start. I thought if this team only lost 7 or 8 games, it would be a successful season. That's what I expected, is like they're going to have their ups and downs, and Caleb's going to have some big games, and then the fans are going to bitch and moan about them because there's going to be things that they're going to see that they're worried that the sky's falling. And so, I mean, I'm not surprised by any of this, but at the same time, being on X and posting some things from the Ravens game and hearing that it was an uneven performance and, all of that, and going, I thought that was his best performance of the year up until recently. That was it.
I said the same thing, bro.
But
I'm like,
but you're talking about fantasy football.
I
honestly think like fantasy football, like you're talking about these fans looking at it specifically as entertainment and a getaway for 3 hours. They look down and they don't see 300 yards. They don't see 3 or 4 touchdowns. And you're like, he sucked today.
Yeah,
that's,
and
it's that surface level. Yeah,
and on top of it, they watch Red Zone. I think I started my article about this whole topic that week and reviewing Caleb's game against the Ravens because I haven't heard some of my colleagues talking about how he looked uneven. So I looked at the tape again, and I watched the game, but I looked at it and I was like, yes, let me write about this. And the one I'm going to preference is this. Most people watch Red Zone.
Yep.
They don't study the game. So if they don't see the guy on TV and they're not getting in the red zone then they're going to say he's not playing well rather than seeing the context 100%. Of football. And most fans do that. Red zone is like Cliff's notes, but it's not even telling you about the plot.
Right.
It just told you the names of the characters and like why they liked this guy and why they didn't, and gave you like some like 3rd grade social media review, but they didn't tell you anything about the plot of what really happened.
Yep. Great point.
Well, I know we kept you longer than we intended, and you
big surprise there.
This happens with us.
We have a good time.
I love this man. If you're not following him, you need to on X and everywhere he is, and subscribe to the Rookie Scouting Portfolio.
It's in our description every week. The link.
We always keep it there because he is a part of the family here. Anytime he wants to come on, it's absolutely a yes from us because of what he is and what he stands for. And again, like I said, tonight showing me things here like a professor. And I always go to like coaches clinics because I don't believe that I know it all. There's always something that you could tweak or learn, even if it's just one thing you took away different. Just like you said with Spielman, watching him talk about running backs. I live for that. And I live for you coming on here, Matt, giving us your time and your truth. And that's the most important thing for this network. These fans and these people all over the world need to start paying more attention to the truth and less attention to the cliff notes, in my opinion.
Yeah, it'd be nice, but you got to fight for it, and that's what we're doing. And everyone who's listening right now, and the feedback that I'm seeing on this stuff, I really appreciate you guys. I love the passion in which you guys have. I appreciate the reception that I get every time I'm on this show. It makes it makes it as even more fun. And I look forward to just chatting with Phil and Shane. I mean, they're knowledgeable, they tell the truth, they're funny as fuck, and we have a good time, and they let me be uncensored and just hang loose, and we are fam. So,
and if you don't like us, you can go fuck yourself, and we'll tell you. Right?
Look, my family motto is literally go fuck yourself. That's literally in our household. That's literally at my daughter, who's a retired Marine living in Hawaii right now. I'm not going to tell you where she lives, but like Adam, but she we before she was allowed to curse, before she was 18, she would just say family motto. That's what she would say back at us, because that was the joke, was go fuck yourself was the family motto. So
I love it.
That's why we all fit.
Well, we love you, man. Thank you for coming on. Follow him. There it is below. If you're new to Matt and new to TTNL, this guy's the real deal. He's always here for us in draft season, free agency, and regular season. So love you, Matt. Thanks for coming on tonight. God bless you, brother.
All right. Take care, y'all.
I got to get down to Georgia.
Yeah.
There we
make
go.
Make sure it's in May, like May or June, when I'm not too slammed, and we'll figure it out.
Post draft, right?
Post draft.
There you go.
Right.
Post draft celebration in Georgia.
Yeah. There you go. Well,
wouldn't he shit his pants if he just heard a knock at the door? Phil and Shane are at Matt's door. What?
You might shit your pants when my dog comes out there. But he's a sweetheart. But I'll tell him a gap blitz. I'm free.
A gap blitz.
Yeah.
A gap blitz. Check
Right.
Mike.
We're gonna cross blitz you.
I know. Love you, brother.
Love y'all. Bye.
Right.
See you, Matt.
The great Matt Waldman.
Always the best.
Always the best. Always the best.
And listen, I'm not just saying it. He's not even here for me to say this. His RSP, it is really, truly insane, the amount of work that he puts into it. It's just skill position players, if you're new to it. So, but the amount, I mean, he just does skill position players on offense, and it's still, 1,400 pages long. It's crazy the amount of depth that he goes in to some of these guys. And he read you a synopsis on one guy. And I mean, it can't get any more spot on than that.
Definitely not. If you are new here, get over to Patreon, become a patron, thetapeneverlies.com.
Scan that QR code right there.
Scan the QR code. It's going to be well worth your cost to get the breakdown. Tomorrow, I'll be breaking down the Bears offense. Some nice nuggets in there, a showcase of what Caleb truly is, as opposed to what the beat reporter narrative is. Shane was reading me a little bit of Dan Wiederer, and I'm like, what the fuck is Dan watching? What is the score watching? What are any of these guys watching? Keep trolling. God, it's embarrassing. Poor takes all around.
Let's rip through some of these super chats and we'll do we'll get out of here.
We have to do the
predictions. Yep. Corn Planter, $2. Matt, which tight end will the Bears draft in round 1 this year? Well, I will lose my fucking mind.
I don't think they're drafting that. And where the fuck were you last week, Corn Planter? The whole show was designed for you.
Ed Bits, $4.99, saw 2 mock drafts from the NFL, having the Bears selecting left tackle at 25. Proctor from Alabama. What do you think, Shane?
I love that dude.
He's way too fucking big to live at left tackle.
You don't think
in the NFL? Phil, he's 370.
He is so athletic.
He is, but dude, he can be wildly athletic at 335. Drop the weight.
He can lose some weight.
Yeah.
But he is an athlete.
Oh, they're lining him up in the backfield.
I don't even know how athletic he could possibly be.
Yeah.
He's that athletic.
Yeah,
I take that guy all day at 25.
I don't think he's
He
going to
ain't
be
gonna
available
go
at
25.
No.
He'll be going in the top.
Kentucky Bears fan, $4.99. I think Chicago media are scared from blindly believing in Fields and Mitch. Listen, they're blindly loyal to whatever is going to get the most reaction. Sadly,
Yeah, this is next level troll jobs by the media. First you are complaining because they don't win. Now you're finding new ways to complain about winning. At the end of the day, like, guess what, guys? No quarterback has the perfect game. Did you watch Jared fucking Goff? Are they going back and forth on every throw of his? Did you watch any of these?
I mean, they're just literally going for every fucking fourth down in
Doesn't
Detroit.
even matter.
No,
it's crazy.
That's what somebody said, and it's true. They're setting up every third down play to set up something for fourth down, and it doesn't matter where the fuck they are. It's crazy. Bear down Ken, $4.99. The death stare Caleb gave Colston when he motioned too slow. He let him know Caleb is the type of maniac that gives this team limitless potential. And I think you saw more Caleb Williams, the leader, in the game where he was holding guys accountable. He was a little more demonstrative. And I think
he was pissed at the end of the game that they didn't make those catches and it had to be this way of too close ending.
Yeah, no, and
I really believe that.
He was, right when the game ended, he was, like you said, Phil, he wasn't very happy. He ended up pivoting, kind of quick in the post game. And I guess that he went out of his way to have Cairo a part of that. And this is how he ended it.
Cairo Santo!
He asked the reporter.
Fuck you, bullets.
He asked the reporter. No, I want Cairo with me, I was told. So he made that happen for Cairo.
Yep. Slick 1020, $20. This might sound crazy, but the comeback wins might be connected to Virginia's passing in February.
Way fucking crazy.
Are we witnessing the McCaskey miracles? Maybe you turn it into a hit movie like Angels at the goal line.
I'm going to skip on that story.
I think Slick might be,
I think Slick's been drinking a few fucking
little bit. Slick
Goldschlagers, a couple shots of Goldschlager.
Yeah, he's hotboxing in his garage, I think. So, Bear Down Ken, $1.99. All the local shows sound scared. The team is so good, and I honestly, and as crazy as this sounds, Ken, I think that there's truth to that. Is the Bears have been low hanging fruit for so long. And they have a rabid fan base. If you say anything, we're all going to react. Always. And they know that. So it makes their job so much easier when the Bears have a shitty quarterback. They can revert to they haven't had a 4,000-yard passer. They haven't had a 30 touchdown passer, all of this bullshit. And now it's just, it's like they're trying to prepare for the demise so they can say, see, I told you. And that's why I love what we do here, because listen, nobody's taking the fucking bullets that we have for putting ourselves out. Not one of us. Listen, we all have differences of opinions here at TTNL, certainly on players. Not one of us have wavered on Caleb Williams since he was drafted. Not one of us.
Can I say this? How many of us wavered on Justin Fields in year 2? How many of us jumped him off? How many of us dropped off on Justin Fields in year 2? I mean, granted, we're like, yeah, there's improvement, huge improvement.
Yeah.
But it's not like we're trying to throw people under the bus.
No, we weren't. We gave him a fair shot. I mean, you can go back to one of the shows where I said to Phil, you stay with Justin this year. You give yourself another bullet for 2024 when Caleb comes out. That's documented. You
100%.
You give Justin another shot, and I mean,
what year was that? Year 3 that I was like, he ain't the guy. That was the Bryce Young year, right? When he was coming.
That would have been 2023. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, that's when I knew Justin. No, he's not it. So year 2, I said, well, he's got to make improvement. It's not there. I don't see it. Next year, he's got to be, way better than he's been. Oh, and then when you have to look at quarterbacks. And then Shane made that, and it's all documented here. Well, Phil, your guy is coming out next year. I was like, oh, yeah.
Yep.
And you wait till Caleb comes out because, again, we're right. You're wrong. Sorry. Go fuck yourselves. There.
Not you, Corn.
Blog boys.
Corn Planner 100, $2. Oh, I think this was for Waldman. He was asking Roshan or Homer. Yeah, none of them.
0.
0.0. Alex Sims, do you extend Edmonds and Swift to free up money? I'm not extending
Edmonds?
Swift. They may rework Edmonds' deal.
Edmonds
I
already
think
has a deal, right?
Right, but I think he's talking about extending it out so it lowers his number, and that's what they're talking about doing with Cole Kmet. That's the talk.
We gotta get Byard an extension.
Yep.
That's the move.
Well, I've tried to talk it into existence for the past 2 weeks, and it hasn't happened yet. So
hopefully it does.
Dalton Spain, $4.99. I find it funny how people talk about Caleb's nails when most of y'all favorite rappers do it. Do it. Ain't stop
Don't
y'all
stop
from
y'all
listening.
from
Yeah.
listening.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and
That's
I
my
mean
boy Dalton.
there's the one
bro?
kid from Duke that
Oh yeah,
the
now he's got his
76ers
own
drafted.
line.
Yeah, he's got his own fucking
I
fingernail.
saw him. Oh, that's so cool. You
Yeah.
painted your nails for me today. Yeah.
I
that's
couldn't give any less of a fuck. Okay,
exactly. Who the fuck gives a fuck that is
cool.
only
But Waldman is that's true. But Waldman is right. It's obviously when I was growing up, if I would have painted my fingernails, my dad would have whooped my ass. And I'm just being say whatever you want about my
called you a
dad.
couple things.
Yeah. Oh fuck yeah. But that's my old military dad. That's just what he would have done. Now things are different now, and I don't go out, win fucking ball games. That's really all I care about.
It's just the reality of where it is. Go out there, win games, play ball. Like, if you really want to go into tape, you'll understand it's Caleb. That's why you're winning. Pretty seriously that way. And the escapability, the throws, the attitude, the ability to move the chains and make plays. And then everybody emotionally is drawn to the competitive reality of what he's able to do. I've been around football a long time. When you have this kind of person, I could see Byard feeding off the young kids' quarterback's energy. No matter what, we're still in the motherfucking game because of number 18.
His podcast is actually very good. With Cap,
I gotta listen to it.
Well, it's through Cap, but he just sat down with Jonah Jackson, and then he did another one this week with Rome Dunze. That's very interesting. But with that being said,
I mean, if I'm going to root for a team, I want to give it all I got.
Next play. Pass.
There was no rhyme or reason.
Drove down the field. Mr. Montgomery breaks a huge run. If he scores on the run, you don't got to worry. But you do got to worry because he gets tackled at the freaking 15.
There was no rhyme or
Next play.
Yeah, there we go. Check out Caps and Byard. What's the name of the podcast again?
Intercepted.
Go check that out. Also check out Cap and Hoodie every morning. Those are our guys. It's the only show I really can listen to and tolerate on any radio station.
Yeah, I
can't listen to any of the other ones. None of them.
I just wish. Listen, it just drives me nuts that people are scared to go out on a limb with truth because of the blowback that they may receive. and I don't give a shit. Guess what? Caleb Williams is getting an extension in Chicago. That's going to happen. That's going to happen.
He is your quarterback
And
for the next 15 years.
I don't think that that's going out on a limb saying that. And if you want to call me crazy, I call myself a realist. You know, that's how it is. But Ivan Vargas, Chicago versus Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he's playing.
I think he's going to play. You know, the guy that said he owned you, that fucking discount double checks your ass, you know, in the past so many fucking times, you think he doesn't want to go out with a fucking victory at Soldier Field? You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy's, like, we're talking about probably one of the more pettier fucking, you know, players.
Oh, not one of the more,
right?
the pettiest.
The most pettiest, right? So I'm expecting him to do whatever he can to be out on that field. So
Me too.
With that being said, I see this still being a close game. I think it would be a close game if Rudolph was in there, just for the simple fact that that's the way things have been going, right?
Yeah.
But I do feel like the Bears will pull it out. I don't think it'll be late game heroics from the offense. I think the defense will get a stop to shut them down late in the game, and that'll be all she wrote. So I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears 27, the Pittsburgh Steelers 24.
Holy
This is another Cairo Santos.
I got a 27 score as well.
Is it a Cairo Santos walk-off?
No, it's a touchdown.
Touchdown.
20, yeah, I see 24-20, and then the Bears go up 27-24, and the defense holds them.
Speaking of Cairo, somebody hit their bold prediction last week with a Cairo walk-off.
Shane,
don't know
walk-off Cairo Santos field goal to win was your prediction.
Yes, it
Shane
was.
hit it right on the nose.
What is your bold prediction, Mr. Vargas? Was it you were going to remember to monetize your show?
Yeah,
or
yeah, that'll be the boldest prediction.
Was it to tell Steve not to play songs by MC Hammer live on air?
Can't touch this. Let's see. I'm going to go with DJ Moore having a big game. I'm going to go with DJ Moore, 75 yards, 2 touchdowns.
That would work. How many drops?
A bold prediction, no drops this week.
Oof. I'll take it.
Yeah, there we go.
Bold prediction.
Philip Atoshin.
I am shocked. I have Bears 27, Steelers 20. That was my prediction.
No, you
so
just
it was funny when she said 27. I'm like, this motherfucker's gonna say 20. Watch 27-20. No, thank God he didn't. Yeah. I got the Bears winning by a touchdown. And my bold prediction is Caleb Williams throws 3 tutties. 3 touchdown passes, 1 to put them over the top for the victory. And he throws for 327 yards. Wow. Caleb Williams, 327 yards, 3 touchdowns. There you go.
I have the Chicago Bears 30, the Pittsburgh Steelers 21. That's my final score. It's not going to come down right to the end.
I like those games. Have we had a blowout? Can we have another Dallas?
You're probably
blowout?
Not going to like my bold prediction.
Uh-oh.
I see
Travis Homer with 11 carries.
I see a player with some confidence that didn't have a lot of yards, but probably played one of his best games he's ever played as a professional football player. And I have Cole Kmet catching 2 touchdowns.
Look at you. Cole? A breakout Cole game?
2 touchdowns.
Well, last week, I said it on BHL. That's Cole's best game I've ever seen him play.
He ran
determined.
Well, and like you
All
said,
I've ever
Phil,
want out of that guy.
when they were making a tight end frame, they, Cole got out of the lab, in that mold.
Yeah.
He just never played up to it. This past week, I was like, holy shit. Like I said, that one hit, man, I said to my son, I'm like, we just lost Komet. Thought he was over.
Yeah, when he got hit in the fucking head, it wasn't called.
Yeah.
That was a clear targeting call. That
Yep.
should have been called.
I hear you.
How they missed 2 face masks on one play is beyond anything I've ever seen in football. Like, how many times are they going to miss calls versus the Bears? Christ.
Yeah, it is.
Totally a roughing call. Should have been from your boy from Alabama.
Yep.
On Caleb. That was like 3 steps and push him down.
Yeah.
No call.
Actually, Matthew Waldman just texted me and wants me to share this clip.